got a show for you. Woo, man. That last stream was a doozy. Ooh, man. I like when we get some of them doozies. We wrapped up Club Random's Marshawn Lynch in the two-parter of what end up being the synchronistic causality of Marshawn Lynch. I don't think I've ever seen a display of one man's attempt to set up gaslighting booby traps everywhere. But for whatever reason, Bill Maher persevered. He was able to navigate through every single one of them and create a beautiful display of I don't quite know. I don't quite know. It seemed like there was a really interesting dynamic that was happening there right off the gate, and that was in 2 streams ago, at the back end of the stream 2 streams ago, and I would say that is one to take a look at. That's a great interview. Thank you, Bill Maher, for that. And what I realized is, nearly forgot about Dan Farah. Farah. I think he's going to be talking aliens. Okay. Now, I wasn't really going to spend too much time in Bill Maher verse, okay? The Bill Maher universe. But once I saw what was going on, I just need to look at that set. Okay, I need to take a look at that set. Because there's all sorts of crazy contraptions everywhere. What are you doing with the guitar just hanging on the wall like that? Just leaning on the wall like that. Oh, man. So we figured someone was doing Amazon purchases. I figured it was a female intern that was just doing the set decoration and the decor, that had a bag hanging on the arm of the chair and a guitar hanging, just kind of leaning on the wall, that nearly fell down. It nearly fell down. Okay, and we covered it all, folks. We covered all this domino effect that had happened that nearly made the guitar fall off the wall. Many beautiful discoveries in this one. So please take a look back at the past streams, and we'll continue on with Bill Maher here in Dan Farah. I really want to put another H in there or something, but he just won't let me. I mean, look at that. Already got 100K. He's knocking them out of the park. And we had so much fun with this one, and this was 89. That means we're going to have this much more fun. That's why Jeff dies are not fun. You got to get at least a steady 5K going before we start punching up. Yeah. A couple of those Kurt Metzger streams passing Jeff Dye's numbers. Thank you very much. Okay, and I gotta let you know, I'm not, you know, I, jumping on one man's, coattails. Okay, I really enjoy what he's doing right now, and there, he was one of many people that I was watching. But he's putting out some really good content right now, and I would like to kind of stay in the swell of it. But we'll move on and cover other people. But he's a lot of fun to bounce ideas off of, because he'll let you stay in that pool of curiosity for a while, and you feel you're part of the egregore of this whole chaotic web. So we appreciate that, Kurt Metzger. But here we are with Bill Maher, and I like how he interacts with his guests, just like Jamie Kennedy. I like how Jamie Kennedy interacts with his guests, how he is, and how he allows the guest to be. And Bill Maher definitely calls people out. He'll call them out. So Jamie Kennedy will tell you that he loves you, and then bring up the time that you drove drunk and hit a tree. Watch out! He'll get you. So Jeff Dye wasn't too happy on that one. A lot of threatening. Let's keep the threats at bay. But Bill Maher will, kind of enjoy it, and then, kind of, he'll make his idea known. And a few of those ideas, Marshawn Lynch was not wanting. He's no, I don't, no, I don't play like that. Okay, so Marshawn Lynch picked up real quick on Bill Maher's gay innuendos. And there was a couple of them, actually quite a few. And it seemed as the tequila continued for Bill Maher, the more came out. So he switched to tequila. Yeah! Tequila! And it can make you feel good, okay? Yay! So a lot of fun stuff in that. A lot of fun stuff in that. So if you want to see how we reacted to this, okay, this is reaction content. It is in the past streams. But here we are, Bill Maher. I've never heard of you, Dan. Just so you know, I've never heard of your name. And you're getting 100K. Ooh, that makes me so excited, because it's about the ideas. Because who are you? But I'm excited to get to know ya. No, I don't like knowing anyone. Okay. Let's not know people. It's the knowing. It's not knowledge. Okay, it's not gnosis. It's observation. So we gotta come up with a different word than knowing. Because I ain't never known a man. I ain't never known a man in my life. But here we are, Bill Maher. Just about it. See, for whatever reason, I just want to click this every time. But you have to click this, right? Yeah.
Breaking news, our merch just got off.
Okay, so now we want to help him promote Club Random. But we also understand that we cannot be playing his stuff. Okay, so that's. But here we are, Dan. But really, this is source material. So we are watching something from the source, and then there's secondhand content where other creators, create a few headlines out of source material, give their point of view and all that, and then you can watch it. Those secondhand content, like redacted or American Redact and Too Lazy to Try kind of stuff. So for these streams that we do, we're not doing these kind of reacting to clips. What we're doing are these deep dives. This is a long form show, and we're gonna watch things and see where it goes. So other people can pick out headlines and stuff, and we're gonna see if we can find any some funny stuff. I like noticing funny stuff, but sometimes it gets deep. Okay, it gets deep. Now we are surface dwellers. Okay, we're not subterranean. No, we like to go deep, right down the center. Okay, woo way. So kind of like to find new narratives. We're making stuff up. Okay, we're just making. They call it satire, folks. Watch out. Okay, people are not. Whoopi Goldberg's not liking satire anymore. She wants to. She's all about just sane statements. But here we are.
Dan?
Oop, let me get my headphones. That was the intro. We're getting ready to jump into the segment, get settled in, and we got segments. Okay, it's a fascinating thing to have segments. Thank you for the opportunity to have segments.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you, man.
Dan, your spaceship is double parked out there.
Thanks for having me.
We're gonna.
Okay, so just right off the bat, Dan stays right in that position. Okay, he was seated, I believe, stood up, waited there, and shook his hand. And what we had noticed with Marshawn Lynch, he was basically doing a football play, running down this, this landing, the step, greeting him, and it looked like he was ready to walk out the door. So this is someone who stands and greets. Now, I'd mentioned that the third one, okay, the first is running right down. If you go past that step, I mean, Marshawn Lynch was well beyond that step. He was on this landing right here. So that that was a new thing that I'd seen. I mean, maybe a few people have. Sometimes after the show, they kind of walk down. But as far as a greet, woo, that was a long range, or I guess it's long range, but he ran towards him. And then the third would be seated. So either you stand up, shake, you go past this landing, or you sit, and Bill Maher walks to you. Now, that's a power move, right? You'd think that if you stay seated when Bill Maher walks up, it's a little bit of familiarity, comfortable, and also could be a sign of dominance. And but well, I forgot what it would be, the one that would be dominant. So I guess that would be the dominant one. I thought there might have been it was a whole lead up to let you know that there's this other thing. And I suppose that would be it. Just stay seated. But here we are. He is a stander, and that seems normal. Okay, please stand to greet your host. Oh, that's what it was. Oh man. So that's right. So you'd think that. Thank you, Ether. We got Ether. We got Pearl. What's the? Oh man. Anyway, but so you would think that being seated would be the dominant one, right? No, actually, no. Apparently, it's taking a shit in the studio, like Marshawn Lynch did. He had to go to the bathroom so bad that he went and took a shit in the bathroom in the studio. And it completely grossed out Bill Maher. As they're like shaking hands, like, yeah, we're good. It was all kind of catching up. It was just like, wait a second. Oh man, I touched his hands. He spit in my drink. Yeah, he had spit in his drink. Oh my God, he took a shit in my studio. He thinks my place looks like Jumanji. His words. So here we are. Bill Maher gives. Bill Maher gives a lot. So, I mean, this is what other show is doing is giving you this much? I'm talking about Bill Maher show. Like gives you all these guests. All right, here we go.
I have to move that.
Oh, I got dropped off.
You don't travel in a spaceship, Dan? Are there people who think that? Do you get hate for being the apostle here of
No.
the UFOs? No hate
really.
mail on that.
Not really.
Okay, so he's a UFO guy. Yeah, I don't know. Now he's got wine, a wine bottle, shot glass, and can't quite make that out. Is that the Hennessy? No. But there's not the jar of candy. Now, Marshawn Lynch had a jar of peanut M&Ms with the M's licked off of them. That was one of his demands in his writer. He said he wanted a jar of peanut M&Ms with the M's licked off of them because it reminded him of slavery. And he's got, looks like maybe like a lighter or something. So there's no bottle of Hennessy, but we got a big old bottle of wine, which could very well mean if he goes in for a refill now, Marshawn Lynch was doing shots of Hennessy. So he kept having to, pour himself shots, several. And through that time, the lampshade fell twice. It fell twice. The first one we covered in great detail. And then on the part 2 of that, when we wrapped it up, sure enough, it fell again. That's it. Towards the end of that stream. What an amazing surprise. Okay. It's these moments. Okay. Yeah. Celebrate the moments of your life. Okay. Life's in the moment. And we saw it all played out because of this cheap, like, grotesque lamp. And I mean grotesque in the sense of just horrible design and like the simplicity of it is everything wrong with it. And it doesn't benefit us in any way at all. That lampshade sets on an energy saver bulb that doesn't get hot. So the design of this lamp is that the lampshade just rests on top of that. And what they, I guess, don't take in consideration is that it could fall off. And it does quite often, according to Bill Maher. And it did twice. And we covered that. It was amazing. But here we are. he's got a wine bottle, so he's not going to be slamming that bottle down on the on this cheap table. Another Amazon purchase. This kind of light aluminum frame. Oh man. So the whole thing shakes when you set something on it. Now, a lot of times we like to pay tribute and homage to the shows that gives us the most joy, and we'll incorporate a little bit of their aesthetic into ours while we watch it. So this is a little bit of a nod to Bill Maher.
Not really.
That's amazing, because this country is so divided that I would think anything like, because certainly, you know, it's in your documentary, and I talked about it on my show with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who concurs with some of the people in the Defense Department who think aliens, they're demons. We're talking about angels and demons. Fallen angels is what Marjorie Taylor said.
Oh, here we go. Ooh, man. Starting off good. So we got fallen angels and demons. Now, the Nephilim. And that's going to be the aliens. Okay. Oh man, I feel like my is my screen too big for this? I feel like I need to go. There we go. Yeah, we'll try this out. Sometimes it does look a bit bigger on my end, but I want to make sure you guys can see all this. I don't need to be blocking it.
That's, I mean, you say aliens. Other people, to me, this could be the dividing line to start like a lot of online fighting. No?
You know, like everybody's, you know, allowed to have their own opinion. The one thing I have gotten some like angry DMs on these social media sites where people are like, I want more evidence. I want to see this. I want to see that. And I'm like, I do too. We all want more. But, you know, to me,
angry that you're not giving enough evidence, or angry that you're just saying this and it's really something like demons or angels?
There's a lot of people who just wish there was more evidence for them to see. But I think, you know, disclosure of this stuff is a process.
Well, I cut this out of the paper the other day just because I wanted to read it.
Okay, so the way that Bill Maher mentioned like demons and angels in reference to the idea of aliens, I'm assuming it's because he is coming from that side and maybe is spearheading it. Wrote a couple of books about it, about the reality of aliens. It's a war against good and evil. Interdimensional demons by Dan Farah. Farah. I'll get it at some point. No, I hope so, because now he's picking up a paper and it's almost like he's going full Mockingbird and reading the party line, because he's already said it twice and now he's going to gonna reiterate it.
It was just cut this out of the paper the other day just because I wanted to read it. It was just yesterday. The British military actively just tried to obtain extraterrestrial technology in the 90s. This just came out. They just released this after thousands of reported sightings over Belgium between November 1989 and April 1990. Large, silent, low-flying black triangles demonstrating propulsion capabilities far beyond any known flight technology. And the British thought they needed to find out what it is so they could reverse engineer it. They, said, we got to have this.
Yeah, I saw that too. There's a lot of activity, historical activity in the.
Okay, so we got a sit-up. We had briefly discussed this. This is something I've been observing in the podcast world. Is when something is addressed, and especially when it's addressed by someone else, or they're getting information from somebody else, they'll sit up off their seat right before they respond. And you can take it as them trying to get above the situation, or that they're trying to take more of a dominant kind of position, or a higher position in the situation, or that they are wanting to appear as if they are above it. And then, and it's almost like oh, excuse me. I just had a little bit of water there, a little bit of burping there, but it's just like, oh geez, yeah. So the sitting up thing, something to notice when you watch these shows. So he did just that right at that moment, and let's see what he was asked, or because it has something to do with those triangles. Okay. I mean, you want to get my curiosity going, start talking to me about triangles, because that's that sacred geometry. That'll get you to circle the square.
UK, there's a.
Find out what it is so they could gave number 90 this technology in the 90s. This just came out. They just released this after thousands of reported sightings over Belgium between November 1989 and April 1990. Large, silent, low-flying black triangles demonstrating propulsion capabilities far beyond any known flight technology. And the British thought they needed to find out what it is so they could reverse engineer it. They, said, we got to have this.
Yeah, I saw that too. There's a lot of activity, historical activity in the UK. There's one of the interviews I did that I had to just cut for time in the film. I interviewed former base commander of Rendlesham, of a base that was in Rendlesham Forest in the UK.
Oh yeah, they mentioned that. Yeah.
And
that's in Suffolk, England.
Yeah. So it was a joint at the time. It was a joint base between UK and US. And they were on Christmas Eve. Can't remember which year. It was in the 80s. There was a big UAP event just outside the base, and
UAP is the old UFO, huh?
Yeah,
that really changed things a lot when they made that change, huh?
Yeah, I think it helps. I mean, I really do.
Really?
Yeah. So
why?
One of the guys I interviewed.
Unidentified flying object, unidentified aerial phenomenon?
Unidentified. It stands for unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It's a UFO, and we got used to UFO, and it's the same thing, and you're just confusing people.
Well, here's
Okay. This is that pushback. He does that with it, like, it could be any topic. And it's because it's because he believes what he's saying. And it's a little bit of the, a little old timey, but not too bad. Okay, it's a lot of fun, and so these young guys coming in with all their ideas and trying to change. You just trying to change my UFOs. Just leave my UFOs alone. And
for unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It's a UFO, and we got used to UFO, and it's the same thing, and you're just confusing people.
Well, here's
it's
the two
not
reasons.
helpful. It's unhelpful.
There's two valid reasons. So one of the guys I interviewed, Jay Stratton, very senior intelligence official, he found that when he would bring up UFOs in certain rooms, it led to this giggle factor.
Okay, so it kind of gives more of like a possibility for it to be military as well, instead of like Fantasia.
And there's a stigma around that word. So UAP allows it to be looked at differently. Also, a lot of the activity is happening in our oceans, and these things aren't flying. Like UFO stands for flying.
All right, fine.
So there you go.
Take it.
Yeah.
But to me, it seems like a minor. You're probably right about that. Okay, so we'll get used to the new one. But it's probably.
Okay, so in that exchange, he sat up. That was, I think, his third or fourth time he kind of sat up. Now, of course, you can be adjusting your seat a little bit and kind of doing all that. Or it could be a way to relieve tension in the body. So just something kind of watch and see if cause it happens. It happens to everyone. I go woo. Anytime someone asks me, I'm like well. So.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Okay, so we'll get used to the new one. But it's probably so inconsequential compared to what, to me, seems like the issue. And, you were on Real Time recently.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I mean, your movie, Age of Disclosure, about this is is groundbreaking. Yep. And, I'm on your page. Basically. I mean, look, do we know anything? No.
Ooh,
I just feel
nice.
like it gets harder and harder as the evidence accumulates. And, what your movie did so well was it arrayed this lineup of very credible people, including the Secretary of State, senators, military people. Not when I was first doing comedy, it was all, these jokes about, a little green man came down and they ate my wife and she liked that. That was all it, probing my asshole. And now it's not that. It's not the farmer in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's very credible people. So
that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make the most credible doc ever made on the topic.
Yeah.
It's something that wasn't sensational.
Oh, nice.
I always wish this film existed. Over the years, I've been fascinated with this topic. I've watched every doc on it. I've watched every movie or series about it. And I always wish someone would take the time to make a documentary that only interviewed people who have direct knowledge of this as a result of working for the U.S. government, and to just have them share what they lawfully can don't sensationalize it. Don't just throw some random guy in there because it's cool casting.
Right.
Just set the bar at like real credible people who actually have direct knowledge of this.
I mean, part of the reason.
So, isn't it amazing just how much better normal creatives dress than stand-up comedians? He's got a great pair of shoes on, pants, top, and Bill Maher is looking good in his boots and pants and his little, Malibu breeze throw. And it's not some Stavros. Although he seems to be kind of cleaning up a bit too. Yeah. Even Metzger's cleaning up a bit, wearing decent pants. Because if we have to look at your legs, if you must insist, please, understand. They too need to be camera ready. Okay, you can't just. I'm not just trying to be in your little dance dungeon.
Reason why this documentary couldn't have been done 10 years ago is because there weren't nearly as many credible people. The things we've seen in the last decade, and the testimony from people like in the Navy who've seen these phenomenon. I don't remember that happening before 10 years ago. It looks to me like the aliens kind of want us to know that they're here. It doesn't look like they're hiding it much anymore. They may be saying, Jesus Christ, these people are taking a long time to come around to what is fairly obvious, And as I said to you on Real Time, I'm not that upset about it because obviously they have the capability to do great harm, and they're not. They seem to be just monitoring. That could change.
Wow.
No, yeah.
Okay, so Bill Maher thinks that there are aliens and that they've been monitoring us, watching us, observing us, which could also lead to why we have certain technologies. People think that they were handed down by alien. I just want to know when do we get the bells back? Let's get those bells back. Man, we're all out of tune with the Schumann resonance, and I think the bells got us there. See if I can overlay a little bit here.
As people in the film talk about, circumstances change. Like we've evolved technologically.
Not with these lighters.
Here's another one.
I'm either the unluckiest person in the world who every time I try to get a simple Zippo lighter, I'm not trying to embarrass the Zippo company, but maybe there's like a really good version of this. I don't know. I do what I'm supposed to do. I put the thing in, and it works once at home, and then I do it here, and it doesn't work.
Gotta go old school,
and
old
yet
school
the
Vic.
alien. If the aliens come, I would like to make this their first mission to get this fucking lighter
Improve the
working.
quality of lighters.
They're so cool.
Right. Yeah, like you're like trying to be the Marlboro man or something. You're missing the point. So sometimes those Zippos, they're not really. You have to get a good quality one that actually can function. Otherwise, it's a mess. Here.
Looking, and I like them. They just don't work for me.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe it's me.
Thank you for the love.
But I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No, you know, a lot of people talk about how if more intelligent life is here and they haven't destroyed us, you know, there hasn't been a War of the Worlds type moment that means that they're completely benign and there's nothing to worry about. And that's a nice positive thought for sure, and that'd be amazing if that's true. But I think a lot of the intelligence officials in my film went out of their way to say it's good to prepare for all scenarios. And the reality of it is, like, we've evolved technologically at a really rapid pace over the last 80 years, but our morals haven't, right?
Right.
We're still invading sovereign nations. We're still threatening nuclear war.
Right.
We're a violent species.
They may be in the process of deciding.
And so the point a lot of the people in my film make is that we're kind of like barreling towards a crossroads where we're reaching the point of either already being able to do what they do, or soon being able to do what they do. And at that point, they would have to contend with us, and we're a violent species. And so it kind of.
Wait, let me bring that back. Did you say that we will be able to do what they do? I mean, or is that just like an habitual thing?
Barreling towards a crossroads where we're reaching the point of either already being able to do what they do, or soon being able to do what they do. And at that point, they would have to contend with us, and we're a violent species. And so it kind of puts a lot in perspective. And I think one of the takeaways a lot of people told me they had from the film is, man, humanity's really got to get their shit together and kind of come together on this, because we're all in this situation together, and that's a tough task.
That's not going to
probably not going to happen, right?
That's totally not going to happen.
So then it's like, okay, well then we just got to be prepared for all scenarios.
The good news is, and again, I think I mentioned this to you. It reminds me of the movies where the bad guy or somebody like Salazzo says, "Come on, if I wanted you to be dead, you'd be dead already." That's, I feel like, where we are with the aliens right now.
Possibly.
That doesn't mean tomorrow it won't change. And I do think one compelling piece of evidence about the whole shebang is that they did seem to appear right after the nuclear age began. It seems like that triggered.
Proactive, more actively.
What? You first see it of course, the bomb is 1945. 1947 really is when we first Roswell and stuff like that. To me, that's quite a coincidence, or it's like, oh, they're watching.
It seems like that's when they started paying attention.
Let's pay attention. They've reached the nuclear threshold. Remember when we were nuclear, little green fellow people here on the planet? We were crazy, and we did crazy things, and we had these bombs, and it was polluting, and it was just terrible. But let's keep an eye on them.
Yeah, I mean, look, the people in my film all feel. Everyone I discussed a specific point with felt strongly that once you crack the atom, it puts you on this trajectory towards doing what they do, and it's only a matter of time at that point. And so that's when they started monitoring us. The thing that the people I interviewed are more concerned about than possible intentions of non-human intelligent life is what would happen if an adversary cracked this technology before we did and used it for bad. Because this technology has the potential to revolutionize the way we live and change things for the better. It could be the solution to the energy crisis. It could lead to interstellar travel.
What energy is he talking about? Is he about to say what it is? or is this the cold fusion kind of thing? Uh, the 0 point energy. I got to give you some of that. I I'll go quantum in an atom second, in a light second. Uh,
Travel, a lot of technological solution of the energy has the potential to revolutionize the way we live and change things for the better. It could be the solution of the energy crisis. It could lead to interstellar travel. A lot of technological breakthroughs could come off the back of it that could be great for us, but it could also be used as the most terrifying weapon of mass destruction.
nuclear?
You could instantaneously deliver a nuclear weapon to the other side of the planet.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the tipping point is fusion. I mean, we've learned how to split the atom. That's nuclear. But that's not really where the gold is. The gold is in
vortex.
fusion, which they're getting closer. Fusion is the opposite. We're putting them together at temperatures that are hotter than the sun. So the challenge is not just doing that. They seem to be able to do that, but then how do you channel that? Like, how do you not, whatever's holding this energy, how do you not melt that thing? You know? So,
Ooh. Okay. You wanna talk about melting planes of existence, do you? Ooh, okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. Um, there is one episode that did not make it onto YouTube. For whatever reason. It was when back in the simulcasting days. And I talked about a little bit about that. Yeah. Like how to, what would be this way of traveling. But anyway.
that, but then how do you channel that? Like, how do you not, whatever's holding this energy, how do you not melt that thing? You know? So plainly, the aliens have this.
Yeah.
I mean, they have something that we don't have.
An energy source that we haven't realized.
Yes, that allows them, I mean, all the witnesses pretty much say some variation of, the thing can hover for 3 hours and then just move at speeds we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Or go, as you say, in the ocean without losing any speed. There seems to be no element of friction there.
Yeah.
They seem to be moving in a way that
just defies physics as we know it.
as we know it.
That's the simplest way to say it. Yeah.
So I can't help but think that is tied to fusion and maybe something beyond.
Breaking all the laws of physics. Woo, man, let's get some of this technology. Okay, this is a little bit of that chi in me. Okay, you gotta interact with it. You have to bring something to the table. It's not this energy combustion thing where you just pull a trigger. Let me just hit a button and pull a trigger to then create this massive energy. It's more kinetic. You have to. Yeah, so you gotta travel. Like quantum wave crest hopping. You can just just kind of skip on the top of the waves.
On fusion, but that's our next moment in human history.
Yeah.
Is fusion, and we're knocking on the doorstep, but we're still a very long way away.
There's also a lot of forces working against technology like that coming to the forefront. Look how we see it in the news this week, how significant oil is to the world, right?
Oh, yeah.
The introduction of a new energy source would basically overnight destroy an entire marketplace that has driven the world for years.
I'll say this for the Trump's move into Venezuela. I mean, I don't totally hate it. Some of it I do hate. But to the aliens who are worried that we are getting too advanced, I'm sure that was very reassuring. Not this guy. This guy's still thinking about oil and still thinking about, stuff like whatever he's thinking about. It's not. What do you think? What do you think Donald Trump knows about?
So I think he's become very aware of the situation in the last few months. And I think he, behind the scenes, is pursuing the truth about the things he is in the dark on. I hope that he steps up this year.
Yeah, let me back that up there real quick. He hopes that what? I'm kind of letting him, give us some context here, and he's not as wild as Marshawn. That's for sure. So we'll just kind of take in some of his explanation on alien and stuff. I mean, the first time I've heard this guy talk about it, I guess. I mean, maybe I've seen some of his stuff, but pretty interesting stuff. But
what do you think Donald Trump knows about?
So I think he's become very aware of the situation in the last few months, and I think he, behind the scenes, is pursuing the truth about the things he is in the dark on. I hope
he's in the dark on it.
Steps up this year and tells the world definitively that we're not alone in the universe, because he knows those base facts, and he could.
What? They're pulling the trigger on alien, folks. No, we know what old Eddie Bravo said. He said that they'll start telling us that aliens are gonna. So I listen to anything that Eddie Bravo says, and I'll be starting a Planet 14th franchise. But okay, he is saying that there is confirmation that there is evidence, and it's been known for quite some time, that aliens not only exist but have lived among us and interacted with us and monitored our behavior. How dare you, without showing me a little bit. Although sometimes I feel like they show me some stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I had to ask it to stop. Okay, I can't take in all that information. I'm no physicist. Okay, but sometimes they'll give you some information. So thank you.
Share that with the world. And I think it would be the greatest moment a leader could possibly have. I mean, there's no bigger moment in the history of humanity.
I don't think any of us have ever known him to ever not share.
Okay, so they're saying that it's real. And again, Eddie Bravo said they're going to start saying it. And this is, a long time ago. Said that they're going to start telling us that aliens exist, and then all of a sudden there's going to be a war. They're going to try to unite humanity, and that's the thing that's going to unite humanity. And it might unite the rest of it that remains. Maybe that's the AI ran new world with Russia, US, and China, and it's ran by AI. I mean, this is beyond Matrix kind of stuff. This is the like Matrix and the Matrix kind of stuff. I mean, you know that if you get an AI robot to rule as a government, they'll just end humanity. So let's not do that. Everyone has spent a long time thinking about that and playing out the scenarios. But here we are, walking right into it.
Like when he, I saw yesterday, he put out these, no, he didn't do it yesterday, but they were talking about it yesterday on CNN, these text messages that the head of NATO, who used to be I think the president of Denmark, had sent him. And they were very complimentary. You know, I mean, it's not a big secret that a great way to ingratiate yourself with our president is to be complimentary. And they were meant to be private. But of course, Trump puts them on Truth Social because, here's a guy, an important guy saying nice things about me. I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, Kanye does the same thing. You know, don't expect, a lot of the younger generation don't expect anything to ever be private. They just don't have that same feeling. So just don't put it out there. But again, I don't remember President Trump ever really holding anything back. So I feel like
he's proactively gathering information right now.
That could be true. Yeah. That absolutely could.
Right. You let him talk because he was actually saying that before, wasn't he? He was saying that he's actually working behind the scenes to get caught up on what's been happening because he's been in the dark about it.
Be true. I mean, he could be waiting for the right moment, like a week.
This week's not the right
moment. A
week
before the next election. The aliens are here, and if I'm not here to stop it, I can see that.
Look, I think it literally, in all seriousness, it would be the biggest moment a leader could ever have in human history. It's bigger than any huge presidential speech. Like think about those great moments leaders have had in our history, like from Gettysburg Address to Kennedy's space race speech, Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech.
Yeah.
Whatever you put on the list, this would be bigger than that. And it's also arguably the most bipartisan moment you could possibly have. This issue is the most bipartisan issue in politics right now. The leaders for both parties are aligned on wanting more disclosure and more aligned on that than anything else.
Yeah, when I think about the famous New York Times headline, "When we walked on the moon," I don't think they've ever had a bigger type face than "Men walk on moon." Giant letters.
Picture "We are not alone."
How big a type do you need for this headline? If there was definitive proof, like little green man arrives, says, "Take us to your leader." They don't have type.
I think it's just simply we are not alone. And a U.S. president stepping to the phone and making that clear for the entire human population, it just would have so many huge consequences.
And it's your belief, I think, and many others, that the reason this really hasn't happened is because it would scare people.
No.
No?
I think there's a lot of reasons. Like, we go into a lot of reasons in the film.
Okay. This is very, very informative. Okay. He's kind of, he's that thing that Bill Maher needs, because sometimes he just kind of like, "Oh, anytime they try to get us," and he's like, "No, actually," he's like, "Oh, okay." So I like this dynamic.
I think, and many others, that the reason this really hasn't happened is because it would scare people.
No, no.
No?
I think there's a lot of reasons. Like we go into a lot of reasons in the film, but those reasons have sort of changed over time. I think originally it was simply, if you put yourself in the shoes of military and intelligence officials in the 40s and you realize this is real, you got to find out a lot of answers to your own questions before you make it known, right? And then I think they found out that this was happening in adversarial nations too. And then it became like a Cold War dynamic of we got to keep this secret because we don't want our enemies to know what we know and don't know. And one of the ways they kept it secret is they created the stigma around this topic. That's revealed in my film. One of the senior CIA officials in my film says that elements of the intelligence community, including the CIA, created the stigma around this early on, late 40s, early 50s, to get people thinking it's crazy if you look into this. It's a kind of a genius way to get people to avoid, asking questions, right, and looking into it. And then that gets into the culture and it gets compounded over the years. Then the stigma gets created. Then the stigma became a reason for people not to want to speak up about it because no one wanted their reputation ruined.
But would there not be panic?
I think at one point people early on, I think in the 40s and 50s, there was a general feeling amongst military and intelligence people that knew about this that we need to learn a lot more about this before we tell the world there's a situation that we don't know anything about and we can't protect you from and cause panic, right? But I think it's naive to think that in 2026 people are going to be jumping out of buildings if they find out of that we're not alone in the universe.
Not jumping out of buildings, but I can't imagine a lot of rednecks wouldn't be like, we got to kill these motherfuckers now while we got them in our sights, while we got we got the muscle, we got the armaments, we got everything we need. We got to kill these people. I can't believe there wouldn't be that faction in America.
Look, there'll be
all over the world.
There'll be a lot of mixed responses, but ultimately, the reality of it is, one of the big learnings from making this film is that we are in a race with adversarial nations, most notably China, to crack this technology. And we have a better chance of winning that
technology?
race. UAP technology, the technology at play. Like,
right, that's what I'm saying. What technology? Thank you, Bill Maher.
So the film reveals that
You mean reverse engineering their craft?
Yeah. So the film reveals that.
Do we have their craft?
Yeah. So a number of the intelligence officials in the film reveal that there's a deeply hidden crash retrieval program in the U.S. There's also
some
one
of
in
them have
Russia,
crashed.
China. Some of them have crashed.
So they're not perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've retrieved some of that technology.
They're aliens. They're not fucking gods, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the fact.
Yeah. I mean, they're dealing with
Because
technology.
I've heard
All
people say,
technology has
well,
flaws.
if they're so advanced, how come they keep crashing their vehicles? Well, I don't think they keep crashing their vehicles. I think,
Well, all technology has some kind
Let him talk about the technology.
like, either flaw or vulnerability, right? And so one of the things that people in my film talk about is in the early days of our atomic weapons program, we realized an unintended consequence of testing was it could cause some of these UAP that we didn't know were there to crash. So there's been all these learnings over time of what could cause these things crash.
I'm sure there is one reason why.
Wow. So do you think that that's why there are so many nuclear tests that were happening during that time? Have you seen that map that shows all the times that a nuclear bomb had gone off all over the world? I was like, it looks like the beginning of a sun. But I wonder if those were to also, bring them into this dimension. And if that concept, as above, so below, that's the esoteric way of it. But then there's the waters above, waters beneath. What if they are in this, above us, and then that that explosion, it's like putting a drain in the tub, then one of them will just be going, and then it'll just kind of get like shocked out of it or something. I don't know. I mean,
they have been monitoring us for so long is because they don't know about this.
oh, but if they're above like that, if there's, what if there's water above us, and then they can also go to the water in the ocean here.
Planet, and they're finding out. They're gathering information. I mean, I don't know if you,
Or they've been here long before us.
or they have been here long before us. You know what? No,
Long before us. Yeah. I need to know how they built them pyramids, and I need to know how those temples were built. Because some of them had to been made out of some kind of harmonic resonance that just formed the material to whatever tones and pitches that they were creating at the time. Because no man can create some of those things.
they're just discovering us, and we're alarmed because they got the little beep on their phone that said, "No, they went nuclear. Okay, we got to get down there and see what's going on." I mean, like in War of the Worlds, which is what I go by. That's my Bible. No, I'm kidding. Because when has Scientology ever led us astray scientifically? But, that is sort of that is the Scientology. I mean, I could see why Tom Cruise was attracted to do that movie, other than the fact that it's an awesome movie and Spielberg directed it. But it is about because I think in Scientology they believe that stuff was buried underground and then came up, and that's what happens in War of the Worlds. But as you remember in War of the Worlds, there's no real ending to it. The aliens are totally kicking our ass, and then they just die. And Morgan Freeman does the voiceover, and everyone is like, okay. But
That's also what happens at the end of Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones' Crystal Skull. They find the UFO that was buried underneath the pyramid. Rises up at the end of the movie.
And dies?
No, it just rises. It comes,
Okay.
rises up.
Because at War of the Worlds, they just die because they got a virus.
Yeah.
So it's really COVID. If they had just worn the masks, I'm always saying to everybody, let's go back to wearing masks. I'm kidding, of course.
But going back to the thing that concerned everyone I interviewed was that if we as a nation don't take this more seriously and make it a real national priority, then we could wake up one day and find out that China beat us in this race, and the consequences could be huge.
So what does that mean? China would be allied with the
No. So
aliens?
So a number of the officials in the film reveal that
There you
our
go. Come
country
on.
and Russia and China all have these hidden programs that are retrieving crashed UAP and trying to reverse engineer them. And it's a technology
nice.
race. They refer to it as the Manhattan Project on steroids. And so the idea is, here we have this stigma that originally was created to keep people from looking into this, and now it's kind of backfiring, and that we're in a technology race now, and the majority of scientists in our country don't even know this is real. They don't know it's a valid area of inquiry.
Well, that you get to something that I found so fascinating in the movie, which is the idea that
Man, that's some real X-Files right there. Oh yeah. Man. Get in on some of that ancient technology. get my consciousness harmonizing with that thing. I'll tap into the ionosphere.
A lot of what we know about all of this phenomenon is compartmentalized.
Yeah.
Like the CIA knows this, and the Energy Department knows this, and the Defense Department knows this, and they don't necessarily share the information. And we gotta, I mean, to me, this is a little like the Epstein files, except not underage girls, little green men. Okay. Like, we want the files out. We want you to collate all the files, because we saw with the Epstein thing, it was a shit show. It came out drip by drab. Some of it was real. Then suddenly we got 1 million more. And, you know,
I mean, honestly, the
I
better
feel
now-
like that's what's going on with this, except again, not underage girls, little green men. And if we could just get all these agencies.
Welcome to the chat, Jen. Oh yeah, we got an old Bill Maher talking aliens. Okay, they are confirming that there are aliens. And we got a fuchsia backdrop confirmation at a show. But here we are. Apparently Jen saw Metzger, so that'd be cool to know how the show went down, and we'll have to do a Metzger recap. But yeah, go to those shows. That's great. You know, we like to participate and see the comedians and join into their live chats, and it's a great way to enjoy the content. But if your set's too bright, don't be getting a stage that's too bright. But here we are.
To share, because you are all on the same team, guys. We're all in the American government. Share, and then because that has to happen, I think, before they release it to the people.
Yeah, but honestly, the better analogy is the 9/11 situation. The intelligence community wasn't sharing information in the most effective way, and there was intelligence gaps. And then this horrible intelligence failure happened, and this attack happened, and we all dealt with the consequences. And then what happened after that? Everyone said, "Oh, this has to be course corrected." So we formed the Director of National Intelligence position as an answer to that, right? And their sole job is to coordinate the intelligence community so information is actually shared, right?
All we did was create a giant, new, ridiculously large, unobservable in many ways bureaucracy.
But the point is, history shows bad things happen when our intelligence community doesn't share information. And so,
I know, but
with this situation,
I remember my joke at the time that we decreed.
Well, okay, Dan's doing pretty good here. He's also pressing against some of Bill Maher's ideas, and he's actually correcting him. He's like, no, a better analogy than whatever you just said is this, and it shows that he's definitely invested into this, and he's talked to the experts, and it's not just this pontificating and kind of rhetoric. Dan's coming at you with the facts. Oh, just did a Pauly Shore there. Well, fact, I guess, and if it's facts, that means he's saying that aliens exist. Okay, that aliens exist, and that there's a race to get the alien technology between us and China. Yeah. I don't know. Would be interesting. I mean,
created the Department of Homeland Security was, gosh, if we only had some sort of central intelligence agency. You see my point? We already had it.
But their job,
They need to get rid
the
of
CIA's job was never to coordinate
All right, here we
all
go.
of the various intelligence community elements. That was never their stated purpose. Whereas the Director of National Intelligence, that's their purpose.
Yeah, and you know what?
okay. And he's getting serious. I mean, because now it seems that Bill Maher's just kind of, because before Bill Maher was agreeing with Dan, and now he's kind of playing the skeptic. And he's like, wait, what are you doing, man? That you were, but no, he kind of tells you how it is. Now he is doing that sit up thing, okay? Now I mentioned at the beginning, you know, whenever you see someone kind of sit up in their seat and they're trying to get above the situation, they're trying to, appear as if they're, above it, maybe, or that they're, I would say, trying to get above the situation. And you see it a lot in podcasters. They always do it in these certain situations. And he's done it a few times. Now it could be, maybe the pants are a little too tight. But without close examination, which we'll pass on, we'll just go ahead and continue to think that it's psychological, because that's what I like.
You see my point? We already had it.
Central check.
But their job,
They need to get rid
the
of
CIA's
some.
job was never to
he's
coordinate all of the various intelligence community elements. That was never their stated purpose.
crack.
Whereas the Director of National Intelligence, that's their purpose.
Yeah, and you know what? I got to give them credit. I mean, something worked. Now, maybe it was just that the jihadists decided to take a break. I mean, they have been at it for over 1,000 years, so like they played the long game. Maybe it was like, okay, we visit a painful chastisement on the infidel. Let's take a couple of decades off. That could be. I don't think that's it.
No, I think we're putting resources towards this, and it's working.
Yes.
And so if we put resources towards the UAP issue,
Right.
and we make the base facts known,
Right.
a lot of great change will come out of that, and the U.S. will lead in that technology race.
Well, I find it very.
Oh, like, so. I mean, I'm kind of thinking that maybe. Well, we'll see. Like, is he kind of acting like this because he's already drunk a little bit?
Interesting that your movie is called The Age of Disclosure, and Spielberg has a movie coming out called
Disclosure Day.
Probably not.
What is the key word here that we seem
Wow.
to be tracking? It would be disclosure. I mean, it seems like this is the issue
okay.
now, that we've, for a lot of people, we moved past the question, is it happening?
Yeah.
It's a little like climate change. There was a time when it was like, is it happening? Is it man-made? And then, of course, there are stragglers who don't believe it is, but they're not credible people.
You know, what's interesting. What was a turning point in that? Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth, a documentary, right? It takes.
Yeah, I mean, certainly that came out, I think 2002 or something. I feel like.
What if Dan's CIA? You thought this was going to be a softball interview, didn't you? Oh, no. Bill's pressing you. Because you're either thinking that or that you're working for the government. Allegedly.
That came out, I think 2002 or something. I feel like by the 90s, people were on the page of, it's happening, and it is man-made. What to do about it? That's a debate we absolutely can and
NSA.
should be having.
Oh, okay. He is for real though? Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. Jan's getting a little bit of former NSA vibe. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But there are still stragglers, who don't believe in that, as there will always be with this. There will always be stragglers. But basically, you pass these tipping points where it's like evolution. When 1859, Darwin put that out. It wasn't like in 1860, everybody was like, oh, evolution, we all believe in that.
Yeah.
It took a while before it's tested, people challenge it, and then it's like, okay, this is the reality. Let's go on to the next question. I feel like we should be on to the question of, again, I don't think it's coincidence that this word comes up in both these films, disclosure. And I feel like when they look back, now the Spielberg movie comes out in June. I feel like, you're going to be the John the Baptist to this Jesus Christ of a movie because it is Spielberg. It's something zillions of people are going to see. It's about the same subject, but it's for the masses. Not that your movie didn't do great, but it's like this is now...
Number one best-selling documentary ever on Prime Video.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we just... Thank you, Dan. Sticking up for yourself. Man, he's kind of... Bill Maher's not really in his corner. I thought he was all for it. But he's not gonna... Like, he's not letting Dan kind of explain things. He's not... He just wants to share his opinion. Bill Maher wants to share his opinion of it. And so either he doesn't really believe Dan or... I don't know.
People are interested and people get it. And I feel like from the history major's point of view, the analogy is this. The Roman Empire was
they zoomed in
persecuting Christians, feeding them to the lions, that old shit, in the 3rd century. 30 years later, they were Christians. They went from feeding them to the lions to, okay, now we are that.
Yeah.
So he's always adjusting. He's always getting up and adjusting that leg
declared it, and then we all just fell in line. Maybe it took a few years, I'm sure. But I feel like that's where we are with this. Like, it was a eye roll for a long time. Oh, aliens, UFOs, yeah, sure. And maybe that's still going to be the case. We don't know. Nobody knows. But I feel like it's passing that tipping point where if you're the person who really thinks we're alone in the universe, you're kind of on the side of...
Not flat earthers and, yeah,
flat earthers, right. You're exactly. You're kind of, or global warming isn't, Republicans were still saying that it wasn't real and it wasn't man-made very recently. Certainly in the last 20 years. They were trotting out silly... There was one Newsweek story in the 70s about how the planet was cooling. Look, the planet's cooling, they used to say. And it's like, okay, you know what? You can always convince a certain number of people.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is where it's going to go. And I feel like...
Look at... Bill Maher's talking him out of... 3 or 4 really good points that he was about to make that he couldn't get to. And he's now, tapping his feet here.
Convince a certain number of people.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is where it's going to go. And I feel like
Okay. So that means he's wanting to get going.
it's a certain number of people.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is where it's going to go. And I feel like the big thing is going to be the Spielberg movie.
Everyone
Okay. And then it stopped right when he was about to talk. So, and then here he is talking. So it shows that he's not going to let Bill Maher stop him. Okay. You'll get to the point, which is probably to promote his movie, Bill Maher. So let him talk about the subject, promote his movie. He's clearly in a really big competition with this powerhouse other movie coming out. But that's not, I mean, that's probably the best thing for a documentary filmmaker. Okay, he's not trying to do a huge theatrical release. So to be a documentary filmmaker and to be able to do something that is so on topic that they're going to be released around the same time, okay, it means he's put some strategy to it. It also could have been coordinated. Yeah, maybe this outfit is a little government kind of. But I mean, he seems to know what he's talking about. Okay, unlike Bob Lazar. Okay, Bob Lazar needs to make sure that he says it in the right sequence because he's a storyteller. That's why. This guy uh, at least believes what he's been told by the experts. So a perfect little mockingbird. No, I'm sure it's really good stuff.
interviewed was really
If
clear.
only
to me
Bill would let him
that
talk.
It's not a question as to whether this is real. We're way past that. Every single person I interviewed made that very.
Oh, okay. So there it is. We're way past whether it's real or not. It is real, folks. Okay. He is saying aliens are real. We're way past that. We are now in a race against China to achieve this technology, which could give us similar abilities. I mean, but he didn't really say what the technology was.
Clear. Their educated opinion was we are way, way past that. Now the question is, where are they from? What's their intention?
Right.
And can we, as a nation, crack this technology before an adversary does? And they all took that extremely seriously. And they thought, everyone I interviewed thought that getting rid of the stigma in our country is a huge, huge hurdle to winning that technology race. We have to get rid of the stigma so that academia and the scientific community can take this seriously and know it's a valid area of inquiry and help us win this technology race. And they all thought that this documentary is going to play a major role in opening the public's eyes. And I all thought that this documentary is going to play a major role in opening the public's eyes. And they all thought that this documentary is going to play a major role in opening the public's eyes. And I heard that over and over from everybody from Rubio on down. Right. And and they were all very, very serious about it. I do think there's power in movies, though, as you're talking about Steven's movie. You know, movies have a unique power to open people's eyes to thoughts.
Absolutely do.
I'm into this topic because my childhood was the 80s and early 90s, and my favorite movie since I was a little kid was Close Encounters. You know, I grew up on Close Encounters, E.T., X-Files was on television when I was in school, and Close Encounters made a huge impact on me. It made me curious about these big questions, made me curious about this topic. You know, it presented it in a very grounded way. It's a very ahead of its time movie.
Well, I have always been a proponent of the idea that everything the movies
That's a good one.
depict then comes to life, which is why the fact that there are so many movies about post-apocalyptic world, you know, after the war, after the war came, and now it's a hellscape, it's the Baron, and it's just, you know, Denzel and somebody else walking across a desert. You know, it's just terrible. Because I feel like I've just seen it too many times. Well, whatever they're predicting is going to come true. And that, I mean, I remember seeing Minority Report, a great Spielberg movie, and they had screens. They were just touching and moving things on the screen, which we all do 1 billion times a day now.
Yeah.
But then it was like, wow. Or even flip phones in Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, lots of stuff.
No, he's always forward thinking and covering things that will come to be. Another great film from years ago that was ahead of its time was Abyss, with all the activity
That's James
under the ocean.
Cameron in the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, he loves the ocean.
Yeah.
It was not a good movie.
Oh, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I did.
As movie making, I don't.
Oh. 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 Ooh. It's like, you make fun of my ideas, make fun of my movies. You won't let me promote my movie. Oh, it's like, just for that, I'm going to tell the aliens all about you. It's like, I communicate with them. Maybe he doesn't like Bill. Or maybe he thinks that Bill's being a bit belligerent right now or something.
I mean, I don't remember it that well. I remember being
Bill seems
bored to
okay.
tears in the theater. And I'm a big Cameron fan. I love Titanic.
We watch it. It's a good one.
Really?
And yeah, and Close Encounters. I watch every few months.
Is that about space people in the ocean?
The Abyss is about non-human intelligent life under the ocean.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what's the spoiler alert? What's the end?
Just the takeaway is that there is other life here, and it's in the ocean. And a number of the people in my film go on the record about the UAP activity in our oceans. Even, you know, from senior members of Congress to intelligence officials, they talk about technology that's not from here, that's otherworldly, that has been seen coming in out of the ocean and into the ocean. And then in conversations I've had outside of the film, people have told me about activity that's been tracked by our submarines that's just absolutely bonkers, like massive crafts moving at crazy speeds under the water, going past our submarines.
What? Wow. Now, is there evidence of that? Or is this just something that these kind of alien guys do, is they kind of, kind of fabricate these stories a bit. Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't seem like he would do that. But he does seem like he will relay some information, though.
So there's a there's a real situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're doing it. If you were an alien and you wanted to hide here.
There's a real situation.
Yeah,
Sorry,
if you were an alien and you wanted to hide here on the Earth
You
itself,
do it in our ocean, yeah.
you do it under, because the ocean is very unexplored.
It's like, say, yeah, one of the, in my film, Admiral Tim Gallaudet says that we have studied the surface of the moon in more detail than we have the bottoms of our oceans. And our
Right.
oceans are like 75% of our planet is ocean, right?
Well, that's if you believe we went
Oh,
to
is
the
that-
moon.
CE5?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I really do think
Oh.
that going back to the
Nothing
power
more
of
of that.
movies, I wouldn't have made this movie or been interested in this topic had I not, watched Close Encounters countless times and had my curiosity piqued. And I think that, my hope is there's people out there who start looking into this topic because they watch this documentary or because they watch Steven's movie in June and they start thinking about it differently, taking it seriously.
So let's go through the movies and what they depicted and see if that's how it's really going to happen. Close Encounters, we want to communicate with the aliens, and we do it through, as I recall, a synthesizer. He's
Frequencies,
he's playing this tune,
Yeah.
and then they play the tune back.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like, yeah.
so maybe it's that. Then there was a movie called Arrival.
Yeah, it's a great movie too.
That is a great movie.
Yeah, I think
I
it's great.
don't remember loving that one either.
That's really good. Yeah.
I feel like
You gotta do
your-
a binge.
I feel like your interest in this topic.
You gotta do a
is
new
so, See, I'm just looking as a
Now that you've watched this doc, you got to do a binge. Yeah.
okay, but in that one, I remember there was just a lot of the aliens writing in this big curlicue language on a screen, and it was like it didn't look like anything we've ever seen, but it was some sort of writing.
Some sort of contact event, some sort of communication. Yeah.
So how do you think it'll?
Yeah. Bill Maher's never impressed. Like nothing ever impresses Bill Maher. And he thinks that things should impress him. Okay, so he's gonna talk like it's not even, they're just trying to do the thing. Okay, just let it be the thing. It doesn't have to be the thing that doesn't impress you. You can just make the statements like, yeah, that's the movie where they had the synthesizer. But it's like, is that the movie with the synthesizer? I don't. They just try to throw that in your face all the time. Like we need to communicate with music. I'm more like telepathic. Bill, just
happen? How will we? I mean, shouldn't they know with all their advanced knowledge? Can't they just have a English to alien thing in their phone?
Some of the people in my film talk about how there have been contact events. Some of the intelligence officials in my film talk about learning of an event that happened where a UAP landed on a military base and non-human beings interacted with CIA and Air Force officials.
When you say interacted, you mean dating? No, but what do you mean?
okay. Yeah, Bill, let him talk. He's telling like what's happening even in military stuff. Look, he's like, what? You mean you can't. You can't tell me they.
Event that happened where a UAP landed on a military base and non-human beings interacted with CIA and Air Force officials.
When you say
landed on a military
interacted, you mean dating? No.
No, but hold on. Wait. It landed on a military base. You sure about that? Did they extract it from the sky? Did it just come over to communicate?
But what do you mean by interacting? You meant they had
They
a
said
conver-
they said they interacted, they communicated
Come
somehow.
on.
That's what
Well, what's the
couple of the
somehow?
intel officials
They
talked
must
about in the film.
if they're testifying about this. What's the somehow?
That was all it was said. And the intelligence official in the film talks about a conversation he had with President Bush I, Sr., about this. And yeah, it's a fascinating part of the film. Halleman Air Force Base is the name.
I
of the
loved
base.
it that Bush too. His
Nice.
comment was, "I ain't telling."
Yeah, that's one of the. That's
I mean, that says a lot.
that was one of the.
I ain't telling.
But that was one of the
There's
coolest.
that leg.
But Texas, if they try to mess with Texas,
But what
we're
he's
the
talking,
point of the spear.
what he talks about in that section of the film, I think is fascinating. A bunch of the people I interviewed revealed that during Bush II's administration, shortly after 9/11, he was contemplating going public with the base facts that he had learned that we're not alone in the universe.
Is that right?
And they held a multi-day, I think it was 2 or 3 day think tank where they invited a couple dozen people to come and evaluate what the pros and cons would be. And they basically ranked. They were tasked with debating and then applying a number to the impact. So on a scale of 1 to 10, like 10 being a bad impact, too much impact, 1 being minimal impact, to every like vertical of society, like religion, the economy,
Yeah.
all these different areas they came up with. And a number of the people that were part of this think tank, they went into it excited about it and hopeful that it would bring about disclosure. And then they all came out on the other side deciding it would be a bad idea, that the time wasn't right for it. This was like right after 9/11. One of the people in that think tank is in my film.
That would
Dr.
be.
Hal Pudov is the senior scientist for my film. He's worked on a lot of classified UAP programs.
Well, that
He was-
wasn't
still
Bush
going.
one.
no, it was 2. That was
Bush
2.
two.
It was
Okay,
2.
right.
Yeah. One was the one who talked about the
I see.
Halleman landing.
So this think tank was when Bush.
Wow. So Dan's coming in with a lot of information, and Bill's sitting there, pretty baked. You know, Jan pointed out that he's looking a little toasty. So Dan's trying to get in a lot of, like, pretty much as much information in as he can, because this is the first time that Bill actually allowed him to speak. Okay. Imagine not being able to speak. But I think the eye that Dan's been giving Bill Maher is probably more in the sense of Bill Maher just saw my film. You know, what does he think of it? And you know, just like kind of waiting to hear back on it. So
And that think tank is in my film.
That would be.
Dr. Hal Pudov is the senior scientist for my film. He's worked on a lot of classified
too
UAP
kind.
programs.
Well, that
He
wasn't
got-
Bush one.
No, it was 2. That was
Bush
2.
two.
It was
Okay,
2.
right.
Yeah. One was the one who talked about the
I see.
Halleman landing.
So this think tank was when Bush two was.
The
Yeah, and then
okay.
they decided not to do it and not to go public with it.
Well, that was prudent, to use the father's term. I mean, not after 9/11. You know, like let's deal with the jihadists before we deal with the aliens.
It's also come out recently that Cheney was very involved in covering this
Oh.
up.
Oh.
No longer
Wow.
around, obviously.
What are you saying? Something nefarious that the aliens killed him because he knew too much?
No, I'm saying maybe
Yeah.
it'll lead to change that he's no longer
Yeah,
around.
I don't think it was them. He had a heart that plugged into the wall. Okay, this
I didn't mean it
this
like
guy
that.
was not well when he died. But
No, I didn't mean like that. I mean he was involved in the decision to not have it go public.
my guess is he would have had Halliburton digging on the planet X-ray before they ever signed a deal. But not to speak ill of the dead. But so
What do you think will happen? Now you've seen this documentary, you see how the truth is starting
There
to
he
come
is.
out. What do
Yeah. Oh. And he's like, "Oh, I gotta tell him what I." He's like, "Oh, shoo! You didn't say what did I how do I feel about the movie? You just asked me how I feel about the aliens. But that is that kind of the whole elephant in the room when you have someone watch your film and so he's like, yeah, but Dan just laid out some, what seems to be pretty good facts, but or statements that, and he might be a little disappointed in how far gone Bill is, where he can't even conduct a decent interview.
So
What do you think will happen? Now you've seen this documentary, you've see how the truth is starting to come out. What do you think will happen?
well, again, I think the Spielberg movie I mean, it's Steven Spielberg. I think this will be sort of the ultimate moment in his amazing career. Because, as we were starting to say, movies do move people. People are a mass. They are the masses. They're called the masses for a reason.
None of the
They're
new
not
ones.
called the bunch of intellectuals. They're the masses. I love them. I'm not putting them down, but I'm just saying
Joker did it.
masses need to be moved by mass entertainment.
Totally.
And that has, Hollywood, which I criticize a lot, and they deserve it.
Actually, Dune 2 was pretty good. That was one I wish I would have seen in the theater. I bet that would have been amazing in IMAX. So they are coming out with. I had to take a break from all the. I'm one of those guys that just couldn't get into all the superhero stuff. Watched a couple here and there, but that's really it. I did not follow along with all the storyline, all the different offshoots. Didn't know, didn't care. I was very uninterested in anything that had to do with mostly that, for the most part. But heard it pays well. But they'll find ways to get you out of the contract. Okay, ask some of these people. They've been in horrific accidents. No, that's allegedly, and that's a huge machine. Okay, you got to do as they say. Yeah. Okay. So Batman's, Christopher Nolan stuff. Yes. And I was wanting to even check out the other guy's Batman. If I dare say what I want to say to identify this actor, he's gonna get mad because he's done so many other films besides this one. No, the newer one. Like, something's gonna change. That guy. Where he's kind of like emo. The vampire guy. Where you guys know. But yeah, that Batman. So they kind of had to get into a little bit more of a saga. But then when you do that, then it's got to get these like, the villain. You have to kind of be, the Twilight guy. Yeah, you kind of have to then kind of sympathize with the bad guy somehow. Like It's like, oh, well, he's only like that because of, he's a victim of the thing that he's trying to overthrow. But not too impressed with a lot of that CGI, wow, CGI mess. Unless it's done decently, but
a lot, but Hollywood, show business in general.
oh, okay. So it was dark. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like now these movies, they got to be like kind of a little too close to home. Okay, like so it's like, well, what are these actors doing in order to have to get there and always be on the edge? Uh, let's just say it's not worth it. Okay, it's not worth it. Just do silent films. Don't think it's all about you. Okay, it's not all about you. You are one instrument in a symphony, and maybe not even that. Maybe you're just the tooting of the horn. Everyone wants to read written word and be filmed doing it. Why? Can imagine. But they like it.
Is responsible for societal change probably more than any other part of society. I'm talking about.
Couldn't agree with you more.
And
he's the greatest filmmaker of all time.
He is, absolutely. I always say about him, he's known as the greatest filmmaker, and he's still underrated.
Wait, who are they talking about? Sorry, I got caught up in superhero talk.
Totally.
And that has, Hollywood, which I criticize a lot, and they deserve it a lot, but Hollywood, show business in general, is responsible for societal change probably more than any other part of society. I'm talking about.
Couldn't agree with you more. And he's the greatest filmmaker of all time.
He is, absolutely. I always say about him, he's known as the.
Yeah, I don't think films have that kind of sway anymore. I think that's done and over with. I think right now it's social media companies and things like that have way more influence. Not even the music industry has the kind of influence that the social media companies do. That's why there's not this huge influx of people becoming, these kind of art, like musicians and stuff. There's not that framework out there any longer. There is a little bit, but it's all changed. It's all changed.
Greatest filmmaker, and he's still underrated. But like if you go back to Gentleman's Agreement in 1947, which is about anti-Semitism, which is back in style, but back then they were against it, and they made movies like that. Racial issues, guess who's coming to dinner in 1967? Gay issues, AIDS, disabilities, nuclear energy, China syndrome. I mean, when Hollywood addresses an issue, it does change minds, and it's mostly been for the better. It's mostly been, liberal people saying, you know what, let's move up on this. Now, we entered a woke era where I think we went a few subway stops past where we should have gotten off on some things. But basically, Hollywood has been a force for good in opening people's eyes to a lot of social issues that they need to have their eyes open to. And now,
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say Hollywood has been a force for good. I mean, I guess maybe.
Now, I think it's, if we can like step up and do our part, it will be this issue. It will be technology, which really is the social issue of the day.
Yeah.
I know it is categorized differently as technology, but I mean, when AI is poised to take, God knows how many jobs from people, not to mention transform life in every other way, it's a social issue. It, of course, is a social issue. And, this, look, I don't know what is a social issue and transform life. And, this issue, it, of
Sorry,
course, is a social issue. And, this, look, I don't know what
Sorry, I'm trying to get back to that social issue one.
AI is poised to take, God knows how many jobs from people, not to mention transform life in every other way. It's a social issue. It, of course,
It's a social. Oh man, I'd like to get that sound drop.
is a social issue. And, this, look, I don't know what the aliens, I don't know what they think of AI, but I'm guessing that that's another trigger moment for them, just the way the nuclear was. I mean, we got nuclear in 45. We got AI, we got ChatGPT on the phone in 2023 or 2022, something like that. Okay, that to me is another really watershed moment.
Yeah.
And to them, I'm guessing it's like, okay, as you said at the beginning of the show, maybe we're threatening them a little bit, getting closer to parity with what they know. I think we're still a long way away. But of course, if you were.
Yeah, I agree, Jan, that the scripts can be a bit cliche. Yeah, that's. I think he actually leaned into that. I think he's like. I think that's kind of his shtick. Where he just kind of wants it very simplistic like that, not overcomplicate things, but
Prudent as aliens, I think we all know are.
We're getting to a level where they'll have to contend with us.
They would have to contend
They
with
have to
this.
deal with us.
And they,
I do think that, and I hope that the combination of my documentary, The Disclosure, and Steven's film Disclosure Day, will reach the masses and impact the way the average person thinks about this topic.
What do you think
he's attaching he's attaching his project to someone else's project. I mean,
the aliens are thinking as they're obviously watching this right now, because they obviously have the technology. AI has the technology to monitor everything. So we have it. They certainly have it. So somebody is monitoring this right now, somebody or something. What do you think they're thinking about what we're saying? And before I let you answer, may I just say, I have always felt that aliens were among the finest people in my district. Mr. Chairman, I have to go to another meeting.
Oh, he sat up. Okay. He sat up in his chair when he did that. It's kind of like this. Ooh, well, I mean, I don't know.
People in my district. Mr. Chairman, I have to go to another meeting now, but I just want to say they are the salt of the earth. I'm doing the speech.
Oh my God. Wow. You know what? Tequila Bill Maher might be the best thing to ever happen to Club Random. Look at this. For the second time in a row, we see Bill Maher in the most precarious position. He is yet again bending over, this time bending forward head first. Before he spun around and bent to pick up the falling lampshade. But here he is, about to.
Now, but I just want to say they are the salt of the earth.
Oh my God. Hold on a second.
Mr. Chairman, I have to
So he does the sit up.
go to another meeting now, but I just want to say they are the salt of the earth. I'm doing the speech from Godfather too.
Wow. Okay. Let me just. Gotta get just at least one slow motion in. Yeah, these are the moments that we are looking for. And we got one. Okay. Dan's pretty dry. This is the first time he's actually laughing too. Probably a little bit nervous, a little stressed out. He's got a big movie coming out. He's like, that looks like just like a Getty image. This looks like the images that are used in AutoCAD or some type of design software where you can just use a human just to sit on a chair. Like architects, designers, they place people among their environment. Now, I will go ahead, because if I can do this while it's in slow motion, oh yeah. Okay. One second, folks. Look at that hand. You can tell how small this guy is. This is a small guy. Okay. Now he's about to drop it. And I'll just be all right, here we go. Now let's see if this works. Oh my God. Movie magic here, folks. Movie magic.
Salt of the earth. I'm doing this speech from Godfather too. The salt of the earth.
This is loud.
I'm doing this speech from Godfather too.
Oh, that's Is that a real laugh? He's like, yeah, what time is it?
Yeah. I'm doing
Oh,
this
he's looking at the legend.
from God.
Dude, he might take out Bill Maher after the show. To look like that. Like that's the kind of look of like all I gotta do is just put in one word to these aliens and you're gone. Okay. Oh, oh man, something just did I just I wouldn't have just set a timer. What was that? No. All right. A little fun there. Thank you for allowing me to enjoy these humble beginnings of a streamer where I get to interact with my medium within my environment. Feel like I'm part of the show. It's actually a pretty good line over there. Like, but look at it. It's got small hands, small arms or something. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I did the background for the show. Welcome back, Wizard. We got a little bit more Bill Maher here. We just said just found a little moment here. Yeah, I got oh actually I bumped the there you go. There. Oh, a lot of moving parts here. A lot of moving parts. Let me get back to the show. I'm a couple setting changes here. But he just dropped his old lighter. So it seems like he's pretty drunk or something.
Salt, Mr. Chairman, I have to go to another meeting now, but I just want to say they are the salt of the earth. I'm doing the speech from Godfather too. But really, what do you
Oh God, that laugh, huh? How about that laugh?
think they're thinking? Like, rank
Look.
guys, they get it about us.
I mean, obviously, it's pure speculation, but you know, the interesting thing about that question is my takeaway from making this film is that we're not dealing with one non-human intelligent life. My takeaway is that there is a lot of intelligent life out there, and that they like humans, they probably all have different intentions and different points of view.
You just opened up a can of worms. I'm going to have another
Yeah,
drink.
I think-
so.
yeah.
You're right.
Oh my God, there he is. Okay. Yeah, so he's definitely.
We're talking about
it's a
one,
singular force. It's
and
not.
So
It's like talking about the government as a singular thing when, you know, there's all these moving parts.
And is
you
there
know?
evidence of that? Like
Oh.
different
Yes.
aircraft, different
Yes.
bodies?
Yes.
So,
See-
but
So one of the intelligence officials
they
in my
must be
film-
aware of each other.
One of the really brave things someone said in my film, Hal Pudov, who's, you know, considered a graybeard in the intelligence community. He's worked on a lot of classified UAP programs. He says on camera that the recoveries have included the crashed UAP that have been retrieved. Those crash sites have included the bodies of non-humans, and that the bodies were not all the same type, implying different species.
But could be different species who are working and living together.
Oh, sure, anything's possible. I mean, you're just.
I mean, certainly that's what's going on every starship I've ever seen on television. I mean, from Star Trek to the Orville, or any of those shows. There's
There it is.
always humans like Captain Kirk working with Vulcans like Mr. Spock,
Yeah.
and then there's the robot guy, and then there's the guy with the looks human, but she's really a hot chick, and they just make her eyebrows look weird, and she's got pointy something, but she's still a hot chick, and just this everything. So that could be the case, or it could be because certainly they're working in concert. Certainly they are not beefing.
Well,
we would know that.
Well, we don't. I don't.
Come on.
I don't think we would know.
We would if they were beefing right above us.
If non-human intelligent life that we're not fully aware of has conflict, I think it's naive to think we would understand that.
Really?
Yeah.
They wouldn't be trying to, in some way.
You're ignorant, Bill Maher, is what he's trying to say. Quit being so ignorant. Yeah. How are we going to know about alien wars when we don't know about ours?
They defeat each other?
I mean, I think all possibilities are on the table.
Yeah.
I really do. I think
Ooh,
I think that
I like that.
what is really happening is probably
he's
scenarios
excited.
that we can't even imagine.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
I agree.
Like we're looking at this all through
Our lens.
Yeah, our lenses.
Right.
And what we understand. But
Do you
I
think
it's,
we'll catch up to that in your lifetime?
No.
No.
I think the base facts. I think my film brings out the base facts. I mean, to be honest, I think this film is disclosure.
Oh.
This is 34 really high-level military
Right.
government intelligence officials breaking their silence on what they can lawfully disclose, telling you what they have become aware of, putting their reputation on the line to tell you the facts and let you know this is real. Here's the circumstances. Here's how we got here. Here's the lay of the land. Just putting it all on the table.
Right.
I think, for
Okay, so that was his first time to really kind of lay out what this film is. Now, is it? Or, I mean, if it is all, these intelligent agencies, maybe, it's, what do they call it? Not fake news, but disinformation. But maybe not. Maybe these are real. He's saying that aliens are not only real, they've been real and been known to be real for quite some time, and we are well into the stages of ship retrieval and recovery, reverse engineering technology, as well as a race with China to achieve this other type of technology, which he seems kind of vague about.
Optics that can be upped by a president stepping to the microphone and definitively saying it, but we already just got told the truth, Like Rubio's one of the, Rubio's on camera in my film more than 33 other people, right? 32 other people. And now he's our Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. He's not a...
Oh, does he have 33 total? Oh, wait a second. How many did you say before that he had in his film? I thought he said like 35, but right here you said
33 other people, right? 32.
Okay. He was about to say 32, meaning that the person that he's talking about is the 33rd. Okay. Government disinformation. Right there. This is a psyop. You don't just coincidentally have 33 government whistleblowers going to reveal the truth about something like that. It's a disinformation campaign, along with Jeremy Bedell, or the other guy. What is his name? I think that's his name. The other alien guy who got Bob Lazar to go on Joe Rogan. Which happens to be, he happens to be on Duncan Trussell show. Jeremy Corbell. Oh, we got a little Terrence McKenna at the end, just kind of vibe out to. So Jeremy Corbell is another one of those alien guys.
Other people. And now he's our Secretary of State and our National Security Advisor. He's not a lunatic who said crazy things and then got pushed aside. He said very important, serious things, and then he got put in the second most powerful position on the planet.
Well, to be fair, there are lunatics in our government. He is not one of them.
No, he's definitely not one of them.
He is one of the more adults.
He's a very thoughtful,
yes,
and
I agree.
serious person.
No, I'm very glad he's there.
Yeah.
Because
I agree, Wizard, because earlier in the stream today, we actually talked a little bit about that, and how, with Bob Lazar, you couldn't really be asking him questions because he had to make sure he said it all in the same sequence, because that's what script readers do. They got to make sure that they follow the next one and the next one. That you can't get those people to kind of jump around to different concepts, because it doesn't even make sense in their own mind. So they have to follow this map. And so yeah. And Jeremy Corbell is one of those guys too that you just kind of have to wonder why you're so excited and why he keeps saying your name as he's speaking to you. He says your name all the time when he's talking to you. Now, if I've got another man saying my name while I'm just talking to him, we're going to have problems. So that's what they like to do. They like to say, Bill Maher, there's a lot of, well, and Joe Rogan, here's the other thing too. I mean, and Joe Rogan, that's just a little priming pump to develop a little bit of trust, allow you to take down your walls of logic, and get you to think that with every time that they say your name, they're basically you. So their ideas will be your ideas soon. Ain't never gonna happen, Jeremy Corbell. You ain't never gonna take my logic. But Dan might. He's coming up with some good stuff. Just might jump on that little carpet ride to alien technology.
I don't know if you saw him standing behind Trump the other day when Trump was saying, we're taking over Venezuela. And he's like, oh, Jesus. And then, of course, he comes back the next day. It reminds me a little like Bush and Tony Blair. Bush would say something stupid, and then Tony...
Oh, we got someone who... Well, you mind if I say it out loud? We got someone who has seen in great detail a flying saucer. Whoa, man. Now, Yeah. They're out there. Looks like, I mean, he says, uh, no lie. Oh, and he was on DMT. Well, the physicists have to use nuclear energy to retrieve them. So you're using your consciousness. Um, so yeah. We'll have to hear the story. And maybe uh I've been meaning to, for a couple of weeks now, to possibly open up the lines of the communication on the show here. The phone in sessions or something. Probably be some means of audio communication. Or maybe like a little bit of, like a little segment in the show. You guys can share your stories, because looks like Jan went to see Kurt Metzger. We'd like to hear the story. Sometimes it's actually hard to kind of convey a stand-up set, because they're kind of all over the place, and you're just trying to like kind of follow along. You're like, okay, yeah, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah. But love to hear it too. But I know sometimes when I've tried to replay another man's 15-minute set, it just doesn't come out right. But I was actually thinking maybe like on these weekend shows, do something like that, because it's a little bit more chill on the weekend. But we can see. But here we are with old disclosure. So yeah, I like that. I like that Bill Maher is giving a little bit of skepticism to this, because it's all too convenient, isn't it? His disclosure documentary is coming out, right? Spielberg's is, and it happens to have 33 whistleblowers, or people who have worked in the government. He has 33 of them. Yeah, you almost got me. Okay, you almost got me until you told me there was 33 people in your film from the government. So, and we all kind of sense that there was some type of association. Jen's thinking a little NSA. Yeah, I can see the yeah. Maybe Fed, maybe CSI, CIA. But yeah, I think NSA is probably more accurate. But he's really quick to defend the agencies. He's just like, well, I mean, you can't expect them to all be able to communicate with you. Yeah. It's like, okay, all right, take it easy. It's like, speaking of Marshawn's high school coach. Okay. Yeah, tread lightly.
Blair would translate it into English, and we'd all be reassured. And then Rubio comes out the next day. He's like, "We're not taking over Venezuela, okay? We're affecting the policy, and and that's okay. I'm glad there's adults, and I'm glad on this issue that he is one of them, because it is going to take balls.
It's one of the reasons why I do think that we might see the current president, not this week, not next week, but sometime in the near future, step to the microphone and make that statement, because he's got Rubio.
Nope, never done stand up. No. Nah, I need to, I like to get warmed up. Okay. Think of me like a diesel. Okay. You gotta start that thing and get it warmed up, and I'll start to purr. I'm not gonna do no tight 15. But people feel like they can get something out of that, then okay, cool. Oh yeah, the Marshawn, man, I was pleasantly surprised of the Marshawn interview. A lot of great moments here, or there, and here. A lot of great moments here, and I like Bill Maher's set right here. This is a great angle. This is probably something that maybe the interns started doing. Really kind of creating some depth of field. And that's why we got our overlays today to pay homage to Bill Maher's brick blue, the blue brick, or purple, or whatever that is. I got it. And a little bit of that neon. And we had talked probably a few weeks ago now, many moons ago. We're on episode 40, folks. Okay, this is episode 40. But we had talked many moons ago about how everyone is doing this color. Everyone's doing this color, and it's either brick or a curtain. And Jan confirmed stand-up set with a curtain, big old fuchsia one. So I think it'd be great to capture the stand-up sets, like the layout, the curtains like that. That's great. But looks like the interns are doing pretty well. But here we are. Let's get back on track. Oh man, just takes one little question. I will allow it to derail the whole show. I love going on these tangents. Okay. But these people that are just hopping in after the live show, they don't like it. They are trying to figure out this show. I'm finally, well, not finally, but well, YouTube's casting a little bit wider net now, and people are trying to figure this out. But I appreciate the comments. Like, let me know what you think, because I care. I do. I do care about I'd say I do care about in this arena a bit, because it's not. I would say I don't care about what people think. In my real world about me and whatever. But I guess with this, it's a little bit of a shared thing. So I guess I ain't never gonna care. Forget that. It's mine. No, it's definitely ours, and I love waking up to the comments. They're but I hear them. I hear the count, or I see them, and I'm like, okay, yep, yeah, I can see that. But I don't think I look much like Kurt Metzger. People are saying that I'm looking like Kurt Metzger. That's one thing I never thought of. But I guess a few people out there are saying that I'm looking like a Metzger. But here we are.
Behind him, and Rubio's so aware of the truth, and he's become even more aware of the truth now that he's the national security advisor.
I'm absolutely sure Trump will do the right thing with this as long as it involves making money from crypto. Okay, as long as the disclosure will also involve a tremendous.
Oh, speaking of disclosure, yeah, but yeah, Wizard, you got to share your story sometime. Love to hear what you encountered. I mean, to be able to see a ship? Are you kidding me, man? So we'll have maybe a conspiracy night. We do conspiracies too, and conspiracy nights as well, and maybe on one of those times, we'd love to hear it. But just think about like the energy and the vibration that would occur. Like, would you feel like you're almost fainting? Or, yeah. It's wild. Wild.
Just pay off to the family, because he does remind me of a very corrupt sheriff who also does clean up the town. So places
I mean,
where
I
it
think
needed clean. Sometimes he does clean up the town.
The
where it
payoff
needed
will be
it.
huge. I mean, I think that is a move that would be, the response would be incredible. It would get so much support around the world for someone to find a leader. A leader, of the free world to step to the microphone and tell all of humanity the truth at once about the biggest cover-up in the history of the world. I mean, it'd be a pretty amazing moment. So I do hope it happens.
I mean, that's a very optimistic view that people would take it with such aplomb. Maybe they will.
He's talking like, do you know what we've encountered? Okay, like, you think that there's gonna be this big old? Have you seen it out there lately? There is already a big mass unrest. What are you talking about? Like, this is the thing that they're going to use to try to unite us. Okay. So they were waiting for civil unrest.
Again, I feel like a lot of the reason why they haven't disclosed stuff is because they do fear panic. The government does that a lot.
Well, some people
look at how they overreacted to COVID and lied.
And he's like, God, he is not letting me talk. Yeah, it's
about
it's Bill's show.
Please don't start with the anti-vaxxer. I'm glad we got the vaccine and it saved millions of people's lives. I didn't want it. Okay, said my thing. But the government did suppress a lot because they were just afraid that people, if they heard the wrong information, which wasn't always wrong, they would do the wrong thing. They don't really trust the people. So whether they will trust them with an issue like
usually because they're covering something up.
This, I do think that's a bigger part of it than you seem to want to admit.
I think it's a huge
Oh,
hurdle.
you do?
Yeah. So look, like I said earlier, this technology, one of the takeaways from making this film became very clear to me that this technology that UAP has.
Here we go. All right, so this is what I've been trying to figure out this whole entire show. What is this technology that he keeps referring to? Now, it's probably something that's in his film that he's not really wanting to fully reveal, but it should, I'm assuming, be revealed a bit more and explained a bit more in his film. But he keeps talking about this kind of technology. Now there's like 0 point technology, cold fusion, quantum, entanglement kind of stuff, even plasma technology. So yeah, I'm assuming it's gonna have to do something with interacting with your consciousness, and maybe you have to like, maybe it talks through you or something, like you're being possessed by it or something. But that's just in communication stuff. But he's talking about certain technologies that would get us to the point of surpassing what the aliens already have, because he thinks that we're pretty close to their capabilities already, and that now there's just a race between us and China to get to this last thing that he keeps alluding to, but never let us know what it is.
Technology that make UAP work. That technology.
Oh, it makes it work.
Very clear to me that this technology that UAP the technology that make UAP work, technology can be used to revolutionize the way we live, or it can destroy everything. You could literally, just to say it clearly, it can be used to instantaneously deliver a nuclear weapon to the other side of the planet. That is the most terrifying thing of all time, right? And so if you make that technology public and this new energy source public, people could weaponize it. So yes, they're 100%. Everyone I interviewed talked about how that is the humanitarian issue that we face, and it's held back sharing this for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And the only way forward to make it public and get those benefits would be to open up some of it, the base facts about it, and treat it like we treat nuclear technology, right? Like that became a humanitarian issue. Nuclear technology is known. We know we use it for good, and we also know that nuclear weapons exist. Mm-hmm. The average person is not told about like the capabilities of nuclear weapons, the vulnerabilities, how many we have, how many are being made, where they're stored.
No, we know that.
No, we don't. There's tons of information about nuclear weapons that are classified.
Okay, we know how many we have. It's in treaties. I could tell you how many we have.
I don't think that information's all out there, to be honest. But
but you have no. But you're not. You're just saying that. You don't have any. You don't have any reason to say that. I don't think.
Well, this analogy has been made to me. Has been made to me by a number of intelligence officials and government officials. How that is the only actual reference point for how to handle this and make it a humanitarian issue. Use the technology openly for good, and yes,
I'm
for
just
some
saying,
weapons.
When it comes to like knowing how many nuclear weapons we have, we do know, and we do know what they can do. I mean, we've been trying to reduce the number for decades and decades. Some people have made some progress. We used to actually have more. We still have way too many. I mean, we have enough to like destroy the planet a zillion times over. Oh, yeah. So what's the point? But there was a time when we in the Soviet Union each had something like 30,000 nuclear weapons. I mean, what would it take to just create a total nuclear winter? Probably less than 100.
Yeah,
so what was the point of 30,000? Well, so they got it down, but it's still, I don't know what it is now, 10,000 or something, but it's a crazy number still. But we do know, not everything is a giant secret. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I think there's a lot regarding nuclear weapons that is classified, but
maybe I'm sure it is.
The point they're making is
I don't want Joe Blow to know where they all are.
Yeah, the point they're making is like to get the benefit of this technology, you'd have to make a lot of this public. But there's a downside to that because bad actors could use that information to create weapons of mass destruction. And so that's this humanitarian issue that exists right now that is a real hurdle.
But we have had the ability to destroy the world since 1945. I mean, that's really the big changeover point in history. Not this with the aliens. This will be bigger in different ways. But yeah, could they wipe us out? Yes. But we've had the ability, as we never had before 1945, to wipe out ourselves. Before that, it was always, well, you know, if that's a thing God will do or he won't do. You know, God will come, Jesus is going to come down, and, you know, they're going to kill everybody except the 144,000 Jews. They get grandfathered into heaven and whatever that bullshit is. But now we really do. I mean, mankind has, what does he say and what does Oppenheimer say? He said, we have become the destroyer.
Of worlds, yeah.
The destroyer of worlds. I mean, that's a sea change. And again, I think that's what alarmed the aliens, because maybe I don't know what other planets are like or where they're from, or whether they're eyeing this as some sort of great place or some, I mean,
there's a lot of what ifs. I mean, like, here's a what if. What if this trajectory we're on technologically was a trajectory that another species or another form of humanity was on somewhere else, and it led to destruction? You know, and they're watching us to see if history's going to repeat itself. You know, are we on the same trajectory that other people have been on in the past? Who knows?
But I'm just saying, I mean, people have always talked about Earth like it's the Goldilocks planet. And when you look at other planets, they are awful, desolate. I mean, I've done 2 very funny, I must say, editorials about how silly it is for us and Elon Musk in particular to be so all head up on getting to Mars. Mars? Like, how bad would we have to rat fuck this planet where it was worse than a place that's 270 degrees below zero, has no air, has 6-month giant dust storms, you have to live underground because of the radiation? I mean, how bad would it have to get? Every planet looks like a horrible shithole. So, like, if I was an alien, I'd be like, whoa, this place has Cabo.
I'm going to send your ass to Mars right now.
You know, this place has
That's a terrifying laugh. That is a scary laugh. Because that's a man who's informed. And he's just entertaining.
And I'd be like, whoa, this place has Cabo. You know, this place. Oh my God. If I was an alien, I'd be like, whoa, this place has Cabo. You know, this.
No, thank you. If I ever hear a man like that laugh, I run. Okay? That is terrifying.
This place has beaches and it's balmy and it's nice. Now, maybe that doesn't affect them, but maybe it does. That, I think, could be the fact that we're so attractive, I mean, makes them want to rape us. Stumped you on that one, Doc.
And there's his gay innuendos. Okay? This is what Marshawn was like, no, don't even. Okay. Now, Bill Maher getting a little lost in the sauce. Okay, when that happens, these gay innuendos start slipping out. And he goes Korean. Is that Korean? Because Natalie from Redacted goes Chinese when she laughs. So he just slipped in a little gay innuendo of attracted and all this, and he caught it. He's like, and then because he didn't laugh, Bill Maher's like, oh, stumped you on that one, huh? Yeah, because yeah, these old timers still think that gay is funny. Okay, gay is just gay, but in their time, if you said something in a gay voice, that was funny. Oh, stop it, hilarious, haha. um, Actually, that was pretty funny. I miss those days. I miss those days. It's back when everyone had a sense of humor. Oh man, those were the days.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean,
Active, I mean, makes them want to.
And Dan basically did the rule of threes here in comedy. He did something, he repeated it, and then on the third he did a variation. So he did his psychotic laugh twice, and then did a variation, and Bill caught up on it, or he caught.
This place
Oh,
has
those were-
beaches and it's balmy and it's nice. Now, maybe that doesn't affect them, but maybe it does.
There's two.
That, I think, could be the fact that we're so attractive, I mean, makes them want to rape us.
Yeah, there's the third.
Stumped
It
you on
made
that
him
one,
laugh.
Doc, huh?
yeah, I mean, I personally think Musk knows a lot more about
Musk.
this situation. Elon, I think he knows a lot more
Really?
about the situation than
Do tell.
than he has talked
Well,
about.
how does he know?
It's impossible to have
How does he
the
know?
level of clearances he has and to operate in space and not be aware of these facts. I mean,
Really?
there are numerous NASA astronauts, highly respected NASA astronauts, who have come back and talked about UAP activity they saw while in space.
Right.
There is a number of there's a lot of activity that's been documented in space. A number of the intelligence officials I interviewed talked to me about it. I had a section that was going to be about this in the film. I just cut it for time because I had to get this thing under 2 hours. But if I put everything in there I wanted, it would have been
Director's
a
cut.
4-hour movie. Well, the whole thing was a director's cut because it's an independent film. There's no studio.
No, but I mean, director's cut meaning make a longer version.
He
Just like
gets
we're
it.
doing. This is a longer version of what we started on.
I
Real
might
Time.
make a sequel. There's been seen a lot of excitement.
Maybe
for
the
a
aliens
sequel.
could partner with it. Just provide some of the
That'd be nice.
financing.
That'd be nice.
Welcome to the
They
chat.
must be flush.
I've thought about it. I've thought about a sequel. We'll
Ben
see.
Lemons?
We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
let's see what happens.
Yeah, I want to see what happens inside of government.
See
I know
what
there's some
happens
things in
after
motion
the
right now.
Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
See, Bill isn't really even giving him a chance. Okay. And maybe it's because he's seen the movie and he's just like, yeah, it's just, but yeah, you can't convince Bill Maher. Okay, Bill Maher just is in that perpetual state of non-impression. Okay, or not being impressed. He's not impressed by anything. He's like, yeah, I don't know. I just, I mean, why? This guy, put out probably $80,000 worth of credit card debt, just to finish this film. And you're like, man, isn't that Spielberg doing a disclosure movie too? Yeah, looks like he's probably going to be the one that people watch. But yeah. What's your movie about?
The Spielberg movie is going to be very good for you, and for this idea of getting. I mean, just a lot more people are going to be asking the question that you are prompting them to ask, that needs to be, fairly settled, as we said, in the way that evolution was at some point settled. Climate change at some point was settled. Let's move on to the next realistic question.
Well, and I gotta go back to what Wizard here was saying. that, yeah, all the sense of humor has left the building and society. Okay. Everyone forgot that we used to make fun of this kind of stuff all the time, and now they take everything so literal, and they get offended by every little thing. Imagine wearing offense as a badge of armor. Imagine wading in the pools of victimhood, thinking that you're soaring when really you're just a big old turd floating in the toilet of Marshawn's release right before he interviewed with Bill Maher. You know, it stinks, basically. And we gotta get the humor back, okay? And the humor isn't about saying how crazy the world is. It's and how we can't do that anymore. It's just by doing it. Okay? Just do it. Don't comply. Just do it. And if they got a problem, they can deal with it. Oh, but they don't know how, though. They don't know how to deal with problems. They never had to deal with problems, so they can't just deal with it. They must get everyone involved. So we gotta make their lives a living hell, and get them trained how to deal with problems so that they start leaving us alone, so we can have comedy again. So make their lives really tough, and it'll silence them. But he is, he's wishing Bill was just taking a little easy on him, okay? This is his release. And put a lot of time into it. And he's seen that, yeah, Bill Maher didn't like my film. Because apparently Bill Maher saw this before the interview. And he's not really saying a whole lot about it.
Yeah.
Which, as you say, is who are they? What do they want?
Yeah.
And,
And
how
is
do we
the US,
communicate with them?
And is the U.S. leading in this technology race? That's super important.
And if they say, take us to your leader, who do we say is our real leader? Because come on, we don't want to take him there because he'll show them the ballroom. It'll be all about the ballroom. I know you came a long way, but I just want to say,
I want to see it happen. I want to see him and Rubio step to the microphone and tell us the truth. That's really, truly what I want to see happen. And
well, he's got the balls to do it. I'll give him that.
In the movie, we put the Kennedy space race speech, a key part of it, where he says that technology has no conscience of its own. It's up to mankind whether they use it for good or for bad, and that is why, to quote Kennedy, he said, that's why it's imperative the U.S. help lead the way so they can be a part of the decision to use space technology for good. And he compares it to nuclear technology. He's like, space technology, like nuclear technology, has no conscience of its own. And this is that situation on steroids. And so I do think it calls for a leader to step up and say that.
It definitely does.
This technology could be used for good, could be used for bad. The U.S. wants to help make sure it's used for good, and we're going to put our resources and our brain power towards it. That would rally academia, the scientific community. It'd be amazing.
If they do say, take us to your leader, and that is Donald Trump. I mean, he is the president of America, and that is the leader of the free world. If they're going to base their ideas about how we all are, I mean, he's got some points that aren't completely horrible, but I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot there that's going to make them go, what the fuck have we gotten us into here? I mean, I wouldn't want them to think we're that narcissistic. I wouldn't want them to think we're that corrupt.
What is he talking about? Is he talking about like other countries to think that we're not narcissistic because he thinks that the Trump is the Trump? That's what I call him. Which I mean, yeah, he is quite a bit, but um, I would say that a lot of these world leaders actually respect him a lot, uh, and it's clear as day. But everyone loves to try to say that they don't. Now, everyone's going to have people that they just don't like, but I would say in general, he is very much, at least, entertained. Uh, well, I would say even more. I mean, yeah, he could be a big old pawn in their plan or whatever, but they seem uh, to uh, to at least respect him, and I think that's clear as day. Now, was I surprised to see that? No, I wasn't surprised because oh, Sleepy Joe Biden, which now there's stuff coming out. Okay, now there's stuff coming out that people are getting a little more comfortable saying that Biden, you was probably someone else wearing a mask. Now, I've been hearing that for a long time. My theory is Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey retired right when he went into office, or just right after. Right after there was a lot of issues with Biden sniffing little kids. And then after all that had happened, they removed him. And someone else stepped in. Could be Jim Carrey. I don't know. People say that. People say that. But those masks. And I also don't think that Kendrick Lamar was at the Grammys. That was not Kendrick Lamar. That was a lookalike in a Kendrick Lamar mask. I can tell in the eyes. And the hairline. But especially the eyes.
You know, I mean, I feel like he really does want to clean up the town. He does want to be the hero sheriff who cleans up the town. And
yeah.
I'm not going to lie and say that there's things that don't need cleaning up.
Sorry about that rant. It was not even about world leaders and Trump. Oof. I should have double checked on that one. Sorry about that.
I mean, the borders were too open. You know, colleges are crazy out of control. I could go on. But I would hate the aliens to base their judgment on us based on how he has handled these issues. Even when he identifies, you know, I don't want to put tariffs on.
Would you rather have Kamala Harris? You would rather have Kamala Harris do it. Would you? Are you kidding me? Look at him. Even he's like, man, you are not a real one. Bill Maher, I thought, Dan's like, I thought you were a real one. You damn. But he doesn't like Bill Maher for other reasons too.
Spacecraft, you know, I mean, it just wouldn't be a good look for humans. I mean, I don't know who the human is. I would like for them to see.
I would imagine that we're viewed as a whole. That's my takeaway. I think that humanity is viewed as a whole. Like we're all in this together.
Okay.
And if and the reality of it is, you know, like Not a great look that Putin's invading sovereign nations, right? Not a good look that
Putin,
people are
another
threatening
guy
nuclear
I
war.
would not want them
Come
to
on, Bill.
base.
Just let him talk.
I would rather them base this on Trump than Putin. Okay? I mean, there
Okay.
are worse guys. I mean, yeah. But
Wait, why is Bill so concerned about how the aliens perceive us? Let Dan finish his point.
okay, so
But I do think here's the other thing: like, you just got to also
Thank
think
you.
about all the technological breakthroughs that could come out of this. There's a scene, part of my Rubio interview that ended up getting cut out for time, was he spent a few minutes making the point that there were like 35,000, I think it was maybe 32,000, really significant inventions that came off the back of the space race. Right? It was a single mission, get to the moon, but all these other inventions came off the back of that technology race that impact our life every day. And his point was, we don't know.
Tang.
I remember you said that. But there's a lot of things, and stuff that has helped make progress in the medical field.
GPS. Didn't we get that from this?
I think so. To be honest, I don't remember. But his point was, we don't know what's going to come off the back of taking this more seriously and putting the right brain power and resources towards this.
Point.
And you know, it's foolish to.
Wait.
His point was.
Get that from this?
I think so. In the medical field.
And there's the old Pauly Shore.
And stuff that has helped make.
Okay. When you're putting your hand back like that, you are trying to, you're not really sure, and you're trying to get those, like tuck the truth in the back there, you're something in the back of your mind.
Progress in the medical field.
GPS. Didn't we get that from this?
I think so. To be honest, I don't remember.
So that right there.
Didn't we get that from this?
I think.
So that's what Pauly Shore was doing the whole time. Just, I think so. Yeah. Okay.
I think so. To be honest, I don't remember. But his point was, we don't know what's going to come off the back of taking this more seriously and putting the right brain power and resources towards this.
Point.
And you know, it's foolish to rule out the fact that it might change our lives for the better. You know, we don't know.
It might.
So, my hope is that that happens.
I mean, to quote every invader ever, resistance is futile. Resistance is futile. I mean, if they want to kick our ass, I'm sure they can. So, I mean, probably best to make friends with Keanu Reeves.
And just get our shit together as a species, you know?
Yeah, that's not going to happen because we're so divided. I once did a whole thing about this, like when I was a kid, and they said, well, mankind would unite if there was an attack from Mars.
Well, that's that Reagan speech. Remember? Reagan gave that speech in the UN. He says, I often think that nothing would unite all of humanity and make us see what we have in common.
They would not. It would not happen. As soon as the aliens landed, the Republicans and the Democrats would try to get them to be on their side against the other party.
You just reminded me of another funny, actually, probably the only funny thing said in my documentary. Rubio says, this is not a partisan issue in our country. And then he slides in, at least not yet. And I think he's right that eventually, explosion will happen on a bigger level, and then we'll find some sort of partisan divide.
Candace Owens, the day after they land, is not going to be saying, you know what, let's all get together, people. She's going to say some crazy shit, and there's going to be 5 million people who see it and follow that, and
Oh, and that's a little jealousy and resentment of her followers, huh? Um, yeah, I agree with you, Wizard. He is getting quite a bit of grandmother vibes. You're absolutely right. This is, yeah, he's not really. At least Jamie Kennedy will let you speak. Well, actually, no, he won't. Never mind. These people just want to talk. What you doing trying to talk on your own show? We ain't here to see that.
Tucker Carlson is going to be doing that same shit. And there's going to be people on the left, not as crazy, but crazy also, who are going to do stuff like that. I just don't see that as our saving grace. Okay, so before I forget, I want to, because the one issue I want to get to, only because I know someone who had an experience. You mentioned contact before.
Oh,
I know someone who actually feels like they saw something on the ground, Men in Black kind of stuff, which we haven't talked about
They
yet.
thought they were abducted, or they just saw something?
No, not abducted. Just went out to the woodshed late at night and opened the door, and there was obviously something there that was not a bobcat.
Wow. Where?
I can't say. I can't say anything more.
Sworn to secrecy.
This person is it spooked him. And he's not an easily spooked person, but yes. I'm guessing he's not the only one who has such an experience.
I've heard from a lot of people ever since before the movie came out, when I put the trailer online in January of last year, people started reaching out to me. Very credible people. Some Hollywood folks, like a filmmaker who won Best Picture, reached out to me to share the story of something he saw.
I don't know if Hollywood and credible are the two
this
words you want to put together.
This
They're
particular
talking.
person was very credible.
No, there are some people.
Senators. There's a senator who's never spoken up publicly about this topic ever. He reached out to talk about something him and his son witnessed on a fishing trip. He was like, "I'm really glad you're getting this movie out there. People need to learn there's more out there than us." And that was a wild conversation.
What happened on the fishing trip?
They were on a fishing trip out in open water, and they saw a giant craft right above their heads. That's all he told me. But super serious guy.
Well,
I never spoken to him prior. He reached out.
That you hear a lot. I'm talking about.
I mean, that's pretty extraordinary.
It's very extraordinary, but it's still a little bit removed from actually being here in some sort of form on Earth. That you hear a lot. That I really don't doubt anymore. There's just too many sightings of that, where they're observing from close quarters, but not here.
So this friend of yours saw a being.
A being.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, one of the intelligence officials in the film goes, remember the guy Jay Stratton, who I talked about earlier, he goes on record in the film saying that he has seen a non-human being with his own eyes. And
well, if we have the corpses, right, is that in dispute anymore?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
We have alien corpses.
Numerous very senior intelligence officials have gone on the record saying that.
And people have said, I mean, I know people in the movie that you made say, if you saw what I saw with my own eyes, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what they're talking about. They've seen an actual body.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's one thing.
People have testified under oath to Congress saying this. You know, David Grush, one of the intelligence officials who testified, he talked about non-human bodies that have been recovered.
I mean, it makes a difference when, now this is not firsthand because I haven't seen it, but it makes a difference to me when somebody very close to a situation says they saw something. Like, to give an analogy, that's ridiculous, but I remember having a discussion a long time ago, some bunch of people sitting around, and somebody said Tom Cruise was gay, which was a rumor that was going around for a while because they say about everybody who's successful. And somebody who is another movie star said, I saw Tom Cruise with my own eyes fuck a girl. And this is a long time ago when they were very young. But it was like, it always
Did you
stuck.
ask him why he was looking?
It always stuck with me. You know, it's
Why
just
were
like,
you watching?
well, you know what? When you're 22 and you're on a movie set, it could happen. I'm not saying he watched him do it. I'm saying he saw with his own eyes, Tom Cruise. Okay, so like that to me always said like, okay, you know what? However many times you want to convince me that so-and-so is gay or so-and-so is gay, you know, at the end of the day, you're just fucking pulling shit out of your ass. Anyway.
Okay, a little bit more gay innuendos, but kind of outright on that one.
Look, I really
as far
think,
as this goes, like if somebody credible says something like this, it just adds a lot of weight for me.
Yeah.
And so
to me, that's the greatest evidence, because I've said this on a bunch of interviews I've done about the movie. I full-heartedly believe you could put a 4K video taken from a military base of a UFO over a nuclear weapon site, and half the human population will say it's fake, it's made by AI,
Right.
some Hollywood producer did it.
Right.
Like, that's where we're at as a society.
No,
right?
I get it.
But people putting their reputation on the line. I mean, a number of the people in my film intend to run for president one day, you know? A number of the people in my film are still actively working in the intelligence community. These are people who have a lot to lose by destroying their reputation with bullshit.
I want to go deeper a little into this thing about the Men in Black aspect of it, because that doesn't. It seems to be the one part you don't really get into too much. Like,
I mean, we talk about the legacy program. A number of people in my film reveal that the program that has been keeping this all away from the public. It's referred to as the legacy program. In the film, they break down which elements of government are in it: the CIA, the Air Force, Department of Energy, and major defense contractors make up this program called the legacy program. I personally think that when people have historically referred to "quote unquote" Men in Black, they're referring to people who have been affiliated with the legacy program. That's what I think.
But I'm asking about the idea that there are beings, say they are able to take human form. I personally don't think they're doing that right now. I think that's a movie.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
Okay. But that would be the next step for them to do. I mean, if they wanted to really get up close and personal, I mean, certainly that's Men in Black. That's also the movie, you know, they redid it with Nicole Kidman, you know.
What's that, Body Snatchers?
No, it's Body Snatchers. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The Body Snatchers. I think that's science fiction, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think so.
And it sort of hurts the cause when people go to these places.
Yeah.
Maybe where we're not yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the idea that they would want to have some sort of presence actually on the ground, it's not crazy to me. Because wouldn't you want to, do you think you can really get every bit of information you need from hovering in a spacecraft? I mean, at some point, don't you have to sort of like get a little more up close and personal with planet Earth and the people in it before? I mean, how did they get the people? They must have landed at some point. What do you think about what was the book Communion, which was the big book?
I didn't get into abductions in the film because I thought, you know, I was making this film for the masses, right? For your average person who hasn't already gone down the rabbit hole and kind of been convinced, but this is supposed to be a very digestible, accessible film, right?
Okay,
so I didn't get into that because there's a bridge.
Communion.
I think it's a bridge too far.
If people, you did the whole thing.
No, for my film, I thought it was a bridge too far. I do think there's a there.
Oh.
I have talked to a number of people who.
I mean, if people don't remember what Communion was, it's a book that Whitley Strieber, I think, was the author.
Yes.
And what it basically was, I'm really, you know, back of the envelope here, but a lot of people had a very, very similar experience.
Yeah.
That's why he calls it communion.
Yeah.
And when you ask them, I think independently, but certainly in a group, what happened, they just had this experience. It involved someone, and they kind of describe him the same way, like 4 foot tall, the almond eyes. It's the classic.
Look, I interviewed military personnel, like real people with great resumes who had experiences on military bases and then claim that they were abducted. I interviewed them, and it's very compelling to hear them talk. And people who don't know each other having similar stories, it's extremely compelling.
But why do you think they all look? I mean, they all say like 4 foot tall. Like,
Well, they don't all say that. To be clear, there's different. There's a few different.
they all did in
descriptions.
communion.
Yes,
That seemed to be.
yeah.
Maybe that was just the species that was in
that
vogue
book,
at the time.
Well, in that book, that's what they talk about.
But I mean, if they really are that advanced, wouldn't they be taller? I mean, they must know that everybody swipes left on any.
there's a few different types of being that are described
Right.
regularly by people who say
Right.
they've been abducted. If you want to go down a really interesting rabbit hole, there's a famous psychiatrist who's passed away. He died in a horrible accident. But his name was John Mack, and he was the head of child psychiatry at Harvard.
And you say it was an accident.
I do believe it was an accident. He was riding his bike and he got hit by a car. But I think
And he got hit by a spaceship riding his bike.
But you should read his books. He was a very straight-laced psychiatrist. He was, at the time, he was the most famous child psychiatrist in the world. And he started seeing some patients who would claim to be abducted. And he at first thought maybe they just, were crazy people. And then he started to go down the rabbit hole a little more, and he started to believe that what these people say they experienced, they really did experience. He started to find all these commonalities, people that had no relationship to each other.
Well, that was what was compelling about that book. I'm not saying I'm 100% believing it, but I do remember it at the time, and I do remember a lot of people talking about it, and it was, to say the least, odd. Now, there are odd psychological phenomenon that do happen here on Earth.
Yeah.
But it was odd that so many people would have such a similar memory of something, and it was a vague memory. They seem to have been abducted. If this is the story, they came back and it was like, boy, my ass is sore.
Not everyone. That's okay. I've actually interviewed a lot of people who say they've been abducted that did not have that experience, but it did happen to some people.
Okay. Well, let's just say the good-looking ones. They, either the aliens abducted me or there was something at John Waters' after Halloween party. No, but, it just seemed like there was...
This is why I didn't include it, because it's a slippery slope to someone not taking it serious. And, but...
I take everything serious.
I think there's a there, as bizarre as that is. And
well, I feel like it's moved in phases. I feel like there was the Roswell phase, and then there was a phase where they seemed to be, and this also is... Close Encounters, that seems to be that phase where they were interested in getting up close and personal. And they did need to find out what a human body was like. And maybe that is what the anal probes were all about.
Well, I mean, a moment in Close Encounters that most people forget about is at the very end when the craft lands and the doors open, people walk off of it.
Yes.
Pilots,
right.
Air Force pilots from the 50s or the 60s,
right,
that haven't aged a day.
Right.
And I think he put that in the movie because he knew that the abduction situation is a real situation.
Nice.
And wanted to at least address it a little bit, but did it in a way, a genius Spielberg way, where a lot of people don't even pay attention to it. The whole build up to the craft landing was enough for them, and
Well, he put that in a movie because he works in Hollywood. And in Hollywood, if you say haven't aged a day, you got me. All right.
I think a lot.
Thank you.
It's fascinating stuff, man.
This is fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing a great job getting it out there. It's important work. I think you will be remembered for your important work.
I appreciate you, paying attention to it.
Oh, no.
Using your platform
I'm
to
a
bring
realist.
attention to this topic.
I take shit from both sides because people, they say they want honesty, they don't.
You're from Jersey.
Get into it again?
Like
I'm
me.
from Jersey like you.
So that's how I gotta be.
Okay. I'm gonna try to stop it just so that they don't ding me. And that was a little bit of Club Random. Towards the end there, I just let Dan hash it out a little bit so that he could talk about his film. So I let it play a little bit long there. But interesting kind of concept. This idea that there are these abductions that happen. You can go into these crafts and you will have gone through a whole life, and then when you walk out of the craft, it was just well, actually, it'd be the opposite. Wait, no. How are they staying young? Because they had that one movie too. It's a children's Disney movie, Flight of the Navigator, where that kid got abducted. He went into a spacecraft, had this huge adventure, and he thought it was just an afternoon, like he just thought he was just hanging out for the day, and they came back, and 25 years had passed, and he thought it was just a day. So that is how you would stay young. So Spielberg showed that in his movie. But yeah, I like that little time travel stuff. That could be cool. Well, that was Bill Maher and Dan Farah. Farah. It's got a documentary out. Try to get it on the screen here. Uh, yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, totally trustworthy. Sure, gotcha. Um, Old Wizard knows. Now I had a couple things kind of pop up in my feed. Yeah, I even had a couple other ones that um of other people, but I thought maybe we could end by maybe take a listen to this and see how Terrence McKenna what he thinks about what's going on. Now, there was a time, and it might have been right around this time, 7 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. Probably, maybe, no, maybe 12 years, 12 years ago. I was watching lot of the Terrence McKenna stuff. It's back when YouTube um, really it felt a lot different. They didn't do this like circle thing or these bubbles of of getting people to content. You were there, and I would watch. I mean, I saw all the old Charles Manson ones, all the, I mean, you got to see all of them as right when YouTube was popping. And there was who else? And like Krishnamurti, a lot of his stuff. Krishnamurti's stuff was good, and Alan Watts, and so you get kind of caught up in these really nice little philosophical landscapes, and it usually tends to happen right before war, right before there's a huge thing, because people can't really talk like this when you're in the midst of war and revolution and all this, and uh, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you actually need this in order to be able to have a point of view like this. But Terrence McKenna has his kind of story and his background of how he arrived as an auditor. I I'm not versatile enough in his background too much, but I've uh, watched a few things a while ago. Okay, so it's been a while. Um, but if you were to talk to me 10 years ago, so I would have known anything that Terrence said. Um, yeah, oh yeah, and exactly, yeah, and that's when I was introduced to Jerry Mishlove as well. Yeah, yep, the Thoughts Out Loud or something. Um, yep, and yeah, it was a really nice. Oh, and you would have like, um, uh, it was the other one too. Um, the Doors of Perception. Yeah. Oh man, why can't I think of his name? Brave New World guy. He was in that whole uh, mix of shows or YouTube videos that were really great. And now it's just creators doing stuff because YouTube used for a while there was this great archive of the past instead of uh, stuff like this where it's just like talking about the stuff. Uh, it used to be a place where you could go back and watch the things that um, you only heard of, and now you can actually watch it. Uh, so here we are. Uh, but I don't normally play these, um, but we'll see. We'll see. It's been a while.
Few months for them to even sort out what the issue was here.
Oh, that's what it was. It because you know this is a psychedelic explorer, okay, and uh, him and his brother are coming out with all sorts of ideas, and he had a little bit of this 0 point energy concept too. and he felt like he could really extract some information from the other side while he was out there, and then he'd come back and let you know about what he witnessed and experienced. So we used to rely on people like this that had a dispensation to this stuff, or predisposed to being able to allow themselves to go, beyond the bounds. There were poets and artists and great thinkers, creative people, and a few far between. We got people like this now. He's not necessarily he's not my cup of tea. It's you don't have to kind of go all wholesale on someone to appreciate the things that they're good at. But there's a few points that are very good, and I don't seem to be questioning so much, not as much when I'm hearing Bill Maher. Okay, so it'd be nice to revisit some of these old clips occasionally towards to kind of close out the stream and be reminded of these travelers, okay? These gnosis knowers. Did I start at the beginning? Sorry guys, let me start at the beginning here. Cause I'm like, usually I can kind of follow along, but I did not know it was quite happening there. So let me back it up here, and here's Terrence McKenna in The Final Illusion. Ooh.
I have to tell a wonderful story about before. But in a terrible state, and I heard these children singing outside in Spanish. And the song that they were singing, as I slowly and painfully translated it, I could hardly believe my ears. The song was, "Behold, behold, the final illusion. At last, the final illusion." And this is, I think, from the point of view of historical society, what we are looking at. We are looking at the final illusion. The body of Eros, expelled from Greece, burned at Eleusis, driven out of the European mind by busy and pesky celibates, denied, repressed, cut apart, lay in wait in the mountains of the New World for the European civilization that would eventually conquer the New World. And as it burned and pillaged and raped its way deeper into the interior of the new continents that it proposed to put under European sway, At last, in 1953, Gordon Wasson glimpsed the final illusion. We have found. You remember I said yesterday that the architect.
Okay, the music. I'm enjoying the talking with the music every time, so I can't watch those redacted. Or it's compilation comedy stuff. It's like, God, you just ruin it. And I mean, there's interviews where it's not like this, and also that he's not trying to heat his mouth while he talks. He wants to not only speak, but then also allow a recharging effect to happen from source as he speaks to the sun. I gotta be careful not to speak about another auditor. I mean, they'll attack your vocals. But yeah. You used to watch a lot of these, and now they're getting kind of rebranded and kind of captured. Let's see if we can. Yeah. 444. All right, let's see if we can power through it.
Type of Western society is the prodigal son, the wanderer who leaves his birthright, who leaves the comfort of the village and the bride who was planned for him, and goes out and does something tremendous and ambiguous and unimaginable, and returns with the gift, difficult to obtain, returns with the healing plant, the magic word, the jeweled crown, and lays it at the feet of the mother so long parted from, and by that act creates a historical closure. You'll recall at the beginning of this weekend I talked about the hexagram that had been thrown for the fate of our planet. Work on what has been spoiled. Through the line, work on what has been spoiled by the Father. And what has been spoiled by the Father is the feminine and the planet as the exterior manifestation of the feminine, leading to the change, which is the cauldron, the alchemical vessel, the theater and laboratory of the witch's magic, the potion that transforms. And in the act of transforming nature through cooking, in the act of transforming human nature through the cooking of the historical process, we have made ourselves unrecognizable to our ancestors, even as we shall be unrecognizable to our children. But, ladies and gentlemen, this souffle is done. This pie is cooked. It's time to take it out of the oven, give the oven a rest, and spread the board. You know, with the passing of the patriarchy, I recall that wonderful line in Finnegan's Wake.
You know, these old-time auditors, you know, people, you'd be speaking for quite a while, and you know, humans only got to hear stories from speakers like this. They had to gather. You couldn't just watch it, and there is to be a bit of a point where you know, preachers were like this, you know, old gatherings, and you know, that especially when it's just this one person talking, and especially when there's a little bit of a spiritual level to it, whether it's religion or intellectual pursuit or something. But they all get to that point where they start talking about food. They gotta wrap it up because they are getting hungry, and they got about 45 minutes in them before they start making plans on, well, maybe if we can, get over to the restaurant. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I haven't seen the surface for years. It's no, I do enjoy the depths. People used to make their homes in the ground. It was only recently that we had to, or we were told to make them above ground. And ever since then, you needed insulation and you needed air conditioning and all that stuff. You never needed that before. I'm getting McKenna up in here. So yeah, a lot of stuff in the world just a little bit backwards. We gotta do it the right way.
Where Joyce says, Grandpappus has fallen down, but Grinny spreads the board.
Oh, that's what it was. Oh, they try to wrap it up, and then they start talking about food. Now, as an auditor back in that day, they're all like, this is like a retreat, okay? And you gotta, he's trying to let them all know, hey, afterwards you're gonna have to, make me some food, because I spoke for you and now I'm getting hungry. So they try to wrap it up and eat. But then again, maybe not. I mean, because you don't want to be. Imagine talking with a full stomach. You have to go well, not many days, but you have to go a long time to get the good stuff. If you want to actually get to the truth. You have to go full monk and get that little alien language.
Sunny side up with care. If you want to be parked, if you want to be phoenixed, come and be parked. Because up Nayent, prospector, you're going to
Sit in your
sprout
faith.
all your worth and woof your wings. And so that's what I invite you to do. To woof your wings.
Wolf's your wings.
Woof, woof.
Whoa, who said that? Okay. So that little transformative content there, woofing in my wings. So little Terrence McKenna, I thought that was source material. I didn't realize that was a fan-made page. They get me every time, don't they, Lemon? Lemon Pirate Radio now. They're switching up. A little too close to sounding like another channel. Well, that was Terrence McKenna talking about absolute nonsense. What are you doing? No, that was good. Some of it, I guess. He gets out there. He gets out there, and I like when people do, because I for sure can't. Okay, I'm just here, just chilling. Now for an extreme, oh man, okay. Again, I'm not one to get into politics, but I do watch it occasionally. But I did see the most insane display of people as they're getting arrested. This lady was rolling around. Oh man, but I just don't even want to play that. Then we got Jimmy Dore, yeah. That's right, Jimmy Dore talking about Joe Rogan's appearance in the Epstein files. Probably much better than what Kerp did. He's just like, I just missed him. All right, well, this is the other one too. So Dan Soder had a talk with Bert Kreischer. So Bert Kreischer is doing his tour. I've yet to see one of his many interviews with all these podcasts. It's the new network to promote your stuff. And Boys Cast, haven't really seen much of that either, but take a look at that at some point. But old Bill Maher, bringing in Dan, talking about aliens. He's coming out with a movie about aliens, and he is ready to tell the world that there's a whole big old disclosure that's coming. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I appreciate the time. Thank you for hanging out. We'll take a look at these and other ones. Usually throughout the day, my whole idea of what the show's going to be changes. So I like that spontaneity of it all. So we'll see what's out there, and but I appreciate it. Yes, appreciate it, Wizard. And again, the live shows, and you guys, hanging around like this too really helps. A beginning channel like me with those hours, the watch time hours, where it's showing that a lot of strength. So I really appreciate it, and I'll keep at it, and I think we'll find some really cool things, and already have. So I appreciate it, and look forward to the next time. Thank you. And you guys are great too. Love you guys' stories, and you guys make the show too. So I appreciate it.